আচ্ছা, শুরু করি। সুকন্যা,
হ্যাঁ স্যার, আমার ঠিক আছে, আমার কোনো অসুবিধা
শুরু
নেই।
করি।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, হ্যাঁ স্যার।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, শুরু করতে পারেন, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই।
আচ্ছা, রৌনক লাইভ হয়েছে, ইউটিউব লাইভ?
হ্যাঁ স্যার, রুমলোক তো বললো একটু আগে হয়েছে।
চেক করি। হ্যাঁ, লাইভ হয়েছে।
গুড ইভিনিং স্যার।
গুড ইভিনিং, গুড ইভিনিং।
হ্যাঁ স্যার, লাইভ হয়ে গেছে ইউটিউবে।
স্যার আপনি মিউট
স্যার মিউট
আছেন।
আছে আপনার।
So, good evening to all. So we are on the eighth day of our virtual lecture series on finance and other allied subjects, especially for BCom undergraduate or semester students, organized by Kolkata Bidhannagar Society for Academic Advancement. Today on this eighth day, or day 8, that means 19th December 2022, Monday, we have three respected invitee speaker, or you can say resource persons. In the first lecture session, that means lecture number 14, we have Dr. Satyajit Ghorai, and lecture series number 15, we have Brahma Chaudhuri, and in lecture series 16, we have Dr. Swati Chakraborty. So for the introduction part, I'm just handovering the charge to Miss Sukanya Bhattacharya. Madam, please.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Satyajit Ghorai is an assistant professor in the Department of Commerce, Jhargram Raj College, Government of West Bengal. He completed MCom with specialization in accounting and finance from the University of Calcutta and MBA with specialization in marketing management from IGNOU. He also obtained MPhil degree in commerce from the University of Bardhaman. He completed his PhD degree from the University of Calcutta in the year 2017. Dr. Ghorai, about 14 years of teaching experience. Apart from the teaching experience, he has also attended many seminars, conferences, and workshops. His interested research areas includes corporate governance, accounting standards, international accounting, IFRS, financial reporting, banking, and finance. He has written one book entitled Segment Reporting Practices under IFRS. He has presented several articles in national and international seminars and also published number of research papers in different reputed national and international journals, including seminar proceedings and edited books. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Sukanya ma'am. Thank you. Am I audible?
Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Yes. Good evening to all of you. At the outset, I like to convey my gratitude to Professor Dr. Dipti Kumar Chakraborty, Honorable President of our society and retired Professor, Department of Commerce, University of Calcutta. And also I am like to extend my heartfelt thanks to Professor Prema Lama sir, Honorable Secretary of our society, for giving me such a opportunity, in this lecture series. Thank you all of you. And just a second, I am sharing my slide. Is it visible, sir?
Yes, 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 yes.
Okay. Then I am starting my discussion. Actually, today I cover the very theoretical part of the financial accounting one, introduction to accounting standard. Actually, I will discuss the ABC of the standard. ABC, I mean primary knowledge of the accounting standard and the present status of the accounting standard of our India, including the global standard and the conversion process and the recent accounting standard of our India. Just theoretical thing which is in the syllabus of the BCom curriculum. All the part of this accounting standard relating to the accounting standard I will cover today. Just unit wise I will cover. Before going to the discussion to the accounting standard, first of all, it is very necessary to know what is accounting, what the objective of accounting, why we are interested to learn the accounting as a students of BCom undergraduate. Actually, accounting is nothing. This is an art of recording, classifying, and summarizing in a significant manner in terms of money, transaction, and event that are of financial character and interpret the result thereof. I mean, we are going to record. Record of what? Record of financial event and transaction. In where? In the financial statement. Actually, financial statement is nothing. This is the output of accounting. This is the output of accounting. And there are several parts of financial statement, like you know very well. I think profit and loss account, balance sheet, cash flow statement, all are the part of the financial statement. Now, by accounting, we are prepare this financial statement. Accounting is nothing. This is a language of business to communicate the financial performance and financial position, not only to the shareholder of the company, of the reporting entity, but also to the stakeholders. Because nowadays, the peripheral of the accounting, the users of the financial statement has been broadened from shareholder to the stakeholder. Now, the accountant, the objective of the accounting is not to meet the needs of the information of only the shareholders, rather it gives the information which has been needed by the stakeholders also. So the scope of accounting has been broadened. Year after year, the accounting, in the scope of accounting and the area which is covered by the financial statement is being broadened over time. And accounting is nothing. This is the language or business language which is communicated the business performance, I mean financial position and financial performance through the financial statement. And now, what is accounting standard? What is accounting standard? Accounting standard is nothing. This is a grammar of this business language. Like every language, accounting as a business language, it has a grammar. And this grammar is nothing. This is the accounting standard. Accounting standard told us, guided us how we should maintain our books of account, what information we should disclose, and where we should disclose, where we should report in the financial statement. It should be identified or recognized as an assets or as an expenses, or it's a liabilities or anything else. In which group we should categorize, which things we should or in which where in the financial statement, in which part we should report this event or this transaction. These things, the total things is being guided by this accounting standard. So accounting standards should be recognized as a grammar of the business language, which is nothing. This is a accounting itself. If I go through the definition, various definition in our literature, we found that we know very well that we are belongs to the social science, it would be better to use the term concept instead of the definition, because to discuss anything we have to give the several concept. There is no clear cut a single definition of single things of anything. So there are several things, several concepts are there. So to explain anything, it is very important or very necessary to go through the several reputed concept which is being given in our literature. I explaining one after another so that the clear concept should be generated. Number one, if I go through the Kohler dictionary, according to Kohler dictionary, the term accounting standard is nothing. It is a code of conduct imposed on accountants by custom law or professional body. I mean, professional body impose the code of conduct. What to do by an accountant to prepare the financial statement, how they prepare this. So these guidelines is given by the accounting standard. This is nothing, this is the accounting principles, how we report, what events should report, when we should report, because you know time is also an important and also an important factor when we should publish our financial report. For which period? This is yearly, quarterly, or annually. For which period we should report. So time is also very important things. Accounting standard is nothing. This is the accounting principle. As a whole, you can say that accounting standard is nothing. This is the part of generally accepted accounting principles. And I think you know very well what is generally accepted accounting principles. This is nothing. This is the combinations of principles, rules, standards, assumption, postulates, so that the accountant can perform their accounting activities in an uniform manner. And the financial report, I mean output of the accounting, should be reflect true and fair view of the financial performance and financial positions to their users very lucidly and very clearly. There will be no ambiguity. There will be no confusion in the mind of the users when they use the financial statement, when they analyze any financial statement. So this is nothing. This is the accounting principle. If I go through the definition given by Littleton, a standard is an agreed upon criteria of what is proper practice in a given situation, a basis of comparison and judgment, a point of departure when the variation is justifiable by the circumstances and reported as such. Standards are not designed to confine practice within a rigid limits, but rather to serve as a guidepost to truth, honesty, and fair dealing. That's mean if I explain this definition, what we found that is it is a proper practice in a given situation. And situation is very important things here, because you know the concept, the postulates of accounting like materiality, conservatism principle, so many concepts or so many assumptions and postulates are there, which is very much related to the situation. One thing may be material to one reporting entity, it's at the same time that these things is immaterial to the another entity, another reporting entity, to the another accountant. That's mean situation is very important. And in a particular situation, the proper practice create a criteria, agreed criteria. Agreed criteria means the everyone, generally accepted criteria. And almost all accountants are agreed to follow these practices. And next one, a basis of comparison and judgment. A basis of comparison and judgment. Yes. To improve the comparison of the accounting or the financial statement, accounting standard is urgent. Accounting standard is necessary. And obviously, to make the judgment, because when we discuss the another slide, another part, you found that there will be, I'll discuss in detail, that sometimes the accounting standard not told us the single solution of a particular accounting problem. Rather, it allowed several alternatives. Among or between these alternatives, the accountant have to choose which one is best for this particular situation. So judgmental decision is also there. But keep in mind, this judgment, to take the judgment, to take the best one, to select the best one, accounting standard help to the accountant, which is best in this particular situation. For this financial reporting entity, it is being guided by the accounting standard. And a point of departure when the variation is justifiable by the circumstances and reported as such. And one concept is their substance over form, not that always we should follow the accounting standard to word to word, toto. Rather, sometime we may have to departure, we may have to vary it from the suggestion or guideline which has been prescribed in the financial accounting standard to reflect the true things, to reflect the fair way, the exact things. And in that case, the reason of departure has to be precisely to be mentioned in the financial statement so that the user of the financial statement should not be misguided. I mean, these things is also allowed by the accounting standard. Standards are not designed to confine practice with a rigid limit, but rather to serve as a guidepost to the truth, honesty, and fair. I have already discussed that we are not always that standard told us that you have to do it in this way, that manner, that figure has to be reported. Not that always. Sometimes it guides us that how we should value it, how we should report it, and they give some. There is some level of flexibility also. There is some scope of judgment, choice of accountant, how they should report. Actually, this room open for judgment or choice only to reflect the truth, honesty, and fair things, fair dealings, nothing more than that. Okay. Now, if we go through the observation made by the advisory group on international accounting and auditing constituted by the Reserve Bank of India, Standing Committee on International Financial Standards and Codes, they define in this way: accounting standard can be described as a vehicle whereby the wisdom and experiences of the profession emerges as a consensus in a complex and changing economic and business situation in preference to the view of individual compliers of the financial statement. One important term here is the consensus, and in a complex and changing economic scenario. I mean, what today we think that this is the best practice, tomorrow it may be changed due to the complexity in the business environment, due to the change in the business, what I can say, business transaction, type of business transaction, business instrument, business mechanism, business technique, and financial instrument, financial securities, etc., etc. All the things is changing over time. And to cope up with this changing situation, there is a need for changing in the accounting standard also. So it to be updated with the changing situation. Again, there must be a consensus. Otherwise, generally accepted accounting principles should not be developed. Otherwise, there would be the main objective to develop the accounting standard, that is the uniformity. There would be no uniformity. There would be the comparability of the financial statements should hamper. That's why consensus among the accountant is very urgent. Otherwise, the accounting standard failed to meet its objective, that is to develop the uniformity in the reporting, financial reporting. Okay. Then if I generalize the term, or we generally go for define the term accounting standard, then I define in this way: accounting standard may be defined as a written policy document issued by the authoritative body to prescribe guidance and direction for recognition, measurement, treatment, presentation, and disclosure of business events and transactions in the financial statement. You see, it is a written policy document. Yes, this document is in terms of written. This is not the oral dictation or anything else. This is a written policy document. And you know some general features of policies there, like it should be implicated for the several period, and it should not change very frequently, and it should implement it to a specific group of companies, specific group of entities, and to a targeted group, anything else. And you see, this is issued by a authoritative body, apex body. In our India, this authoritative body is nothing. This is the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. It is the apex authority. It has the authority to formulate the accounting standard. I will discuss in later in details. To prescribe the guidance and direction, how we for what purpose? For recognition. Recognition of what? Recognition of event and transaction. Measurement in terms of money, how we should measure. Treatment, how or where we should report. Presentation, and how should present in our financial statement. It should be reported in balance sheet. It should be reported in cash flow statement. Whether it should be reported in profit and loss account. Where we should report. How we should present in a single line or in a calculation or in a note to accounts. Where we should report. And disclosure of business events. Disclosure means anything extra information relating to that particular event or transactions in the financial statement. So this is the accounting standard. So I think it is clear now what is accounting standard. Now, what things is actually deals with by the accounting standard? What things? Actually, I have in my definition, when I define the term accounting standard, I have already discussed these 4 points, very important point for which we are actually for the things which is being covered by the accounting standard. That is recognition, measurement, presentation, and disclosure. These 4 things are there. Number 1, recognition. What recognition is? Recognition is the event of transaction. Event or transaction. Which transaction we should report in our financial statement? This is important. This is important things. So recognize of the event, that what should be reported in our financial statement. And when it should report. Because of, if you think about the revenue recognition, in that standard you found that at what point we should report, at what extent, very clearly precised in this particular accounting standard. We are not discussing here the specific accounting standard. That's why I am not explaining this specific accounting standard. But if you go through this accounting standard, it will be clear to you that when we should report this transaction, or which transaction actually be taken into consideration in the financial statement, it is very important. Because of there is a lot of financial transaction, lots of event is there. It is not that every transaction or every event should be reported. One basic principle is there, that all events should not taken into consideration in the financial statement. Only the event which is financial in nature, and after occurring the event, if the financial position is being changed to the related party, then only this event becomes into the transaction, and this transaction should be reported in the financial statement. And nowadays, very important thing, it may be explained here, although it is not related to this accounting standard, but sometime in financial statement, you found that some non-financial information also have to report due to the fulfillment of the requirement of several other regulatory bodies like Security Exchange Board of India for listing the securities into the stock market, etc., etc. So many things are there. That one thing is that accounting standard help us to recognize that which event or transaction we should report in the financial statement. In simple way, you can explain it in this manner. The number 2 is the measurement. Obviously, the event or transaction should be reported in the financial statement if and only if it can be measured in terms of the money. In terms of the money, no doubt about it. I mean, monetary measurement is there. And not only it, there is another confusion is also there. This also guided by the accounting standard, that it should be reported in the cost value, cost price, or fair value, or market value, which price we should take into consideration to evaluate or to measure the evaluate the or measure the financial transactions or financial events. Maybe the assets, or maybe any liabilities or anything else. I mean the component or the event or the transactions of the financial statement. Then now is the presentation. How we should present in the financial statement. In which part it should be reported? Is it should be recognized as an asset, or is it should be recognized as an expenses? That's a good, that's a critical things. And to take the solution, or to take, or to get the know, or to get to the solution, that what would be the result, what would be the exact things that would be treated as expenses or assets, these things should be guided by the accounting standard. Accounting standard help us that a particular event, where, when, how we should report, how it should be presented in the financial statement. Now, next and last issue, which is dealt by the accounting standard, this is nothing, this is the disclosure. Disclosure means anything extra information relating to these transactions or event, so that the fact of the event transaction should be clearly be understood by the users of the accountant. This is the disclosures. Maybe this disclosure, sometime it may found that it's mainly be in reported in the notes to the account. Very important in today's environment, due to the development of the accounting standard, due to the development of the global accounting standard. It's become very, very important part of the financial statement. Before go to the analyzing or interpreting the result of any financial information, result of any reporting entity, it is very important to go through the notes to the accounts. Because if you not go through the notes to the account, then you can't judge the financial performance or financial positions of the entity in a proper manner. Because of in these note to the accounts, there are several critical part, several choice, accounting policy, several things, important things is mentioned, and that's why this information may change your perception regarding the profitability, financial profitability, or the performance of the reporting entity. That's why disclosure is very, very important part, and which is also covered by the accounting standard. Then why this accounting standard is needs? What are the importance, and why we go for establishing or formulating the accounting standard? To minimize the diversity. Actually, what happened when there is no accounting standard? The accountant maintained the books of account to report the owner, in case of the sole proprietorship business, that how the resource has been used, or for any form of the business entity, they report to the owners that how the resource has been used and what is the result at the end of the year, that there is a profit or loss, and they maintain the books of account in their own way. So obviously, as there is no guideline, if there is no rules, no principles, that's why there is a huge diversity. As a result, the alternative accounting method has been used by various accountant to maintain the books of account. So the ambiguity, the confusion is being generated in the mind of the users, in the mind of the analysts, those are use the financial statement of various entities. So to remove this diversity, accounting standard become urgent, because of accounting standard guided us, told us how should report what to be report, and when to be report. All the things is being guided by this accounting standard. So you can say accounting standard is nothing. This is a standardized solution to an accounting problems. It is a standardization of alternative accounting treatment. Accounting standard told us which one is best or which alternative may be accepted generally. These things is being developed in the accounting standard. To remove the diversity from the accounting practices, it is very urgent to establish or formulate the accounting standard. Number two, to promote the comparability. Comparability among what? Inter-firm comparability or intra-firm comparability. What is inter-firm comparability? The comparability between two reporting entities, between the financial statement of the different reporting entities for the same accounting period. This is inter-firm comparison. It is possible if both of these firms follow the same accounting policy, same accounting principle, then only the comparison is possible. Otherwise, comparison has no value. Because if the different policy be used, different method of accounting is being used, then obviously the result in monetary term would be different. So the comparison would have no value. And what is intra-firm comparability? Intra-firm comparability means the comparability of the comparison of the financial statement between the financial statement of a single reporting entities for a two period. For example, for the year 2019-20 with the financial statement of the year 2019-20 with financial statement with 2020-21. I mean the financial statement of the same reporting entity, but for the various or different period, accounting period. This comparison is known as the intra-firm comparison. This is sometimes known as the vertical comparison. Okay, so whatever may be the thing, that comparability should be enhanced if there is a accounting standard, and the comparison is possible if there is the accounting standard, because of if there is accounting standard, then accountant follow the same principle, same method to prepare their books of account, and as a result the comparison is possible. Next one, obviously to ensure the uniformity. If there is no diversity, then obviously there is a uniformity in practice, which is also a established quality of the financial statement. Then it ensures the relevancy and reliability, which is very, very important, that financial statement must be present, must be provide you some relevance and reliable information to the users. Relevance means the information which is very useful for decision making purpose, which has the capacity to change or influence the decision of the investors or decision maker or the analyst. This is relevant information. Next is reliability. Reliability means authenticity would be there. Should be supported by an authentic document, whatever should be written in the financial statement. Reliability. The users can easily be reliable on the financial statement. What information actually disclosed by the financial statement. So relevancy and reliability should be established if there is a accounting standard, because accounting standard help us, guided us that at what price we should report. Because of by increasing the value of assets, by increasing the or by reporting the over expenses, we can minimize the profit. By reporting the under expenses, we can maximize the profit. This is not the desirable to us. If we do this practice, then the reliability should be hampered. Accounting standard is not allow us to do that things. I mean, creative accounting is being removed if we follow the accounting standard, robust accounting standard. And if the accounting standard become robust, then will be no scope of creative accounting. Okay, then next and last one is that to generate high quality information, requirement for additional disclosure. Generate high quality information, obviously, if we follow the accounting standard, accounting principle, then obviously the quality of the financial statement should be very high. And I have already discussed that this should be the reliable and relevant. And accounting standards sometimes ask for some extra information regarding the important transactions or event, which is actually help the users, to better understand what is happening, what activities is actually, how the business operation is running, actually help to understand very clearly to the users of the financial statement. Okay, so we can say that if we follow the accounting standard, then a high quality information may be produced in the financial statement by adding some extra disclosure which is being asked for by the accounting standard. Then this standard may clearly be explained here if I go through the word of the former chairman of the Security Exchange Commission, Arthur Levitt, explain in this way: good standard like good camera produce sharper and more accurate picture. If the standard quality is good, then the picture, I mean the output, I mean the financial statement should be true and fair, should very precisely and clearly be explained or provide you all the relevant and reliable information to the users on a timely basis so that you can take your financial decision in proper time, in a proper manner. Okay, so good standard is like a good camera. Okay, then what are the limitation of the accounting standard? What are the limitation of the accounting standard? Actually, these needs of the accounting standard you may explain as the benefit of the accounting standard, that what benefit we found or accrued from this accounting standard, and these very limitations of accounting standards is also there. You know that everything has some benefit as well as some limitations also. An accounting standard is not exception to this general rule. Accounting standard also has some difficulties or some limitations. What are those? Number one, difficulties in making choice between different treatments. Sometimes accounting standard allow us some alternative treatment or various alternatives to treat or record of any event or transaction. In that particular case, how we should take our choice, accountant how to select the best one from among available alternatives in a particular situation, it become difficult. So it will be easy to an accountant if the accounting standard clearly dictate the one things or one alternatives. Then there will be no choice. There is no scope for judgment. So accountant should not face any difficulties to making any choice if only one alternative is prescribed by an accounting standard. But several accounting standard you may found that several alternatives are prescribed. Number two, lack of flexibility. It is quite natural that the accounting standard when formulated is for all types of entities. But with the nature of the entity, with the size of the entity, the reporting problem may change. So the accounting standard is not properly considered the all situation or all phenomenon of the reporting entities. And there is a lack of flexibility because there is a rigidness. One things or two things is given. Like if you think about the valuation of inventory, you may found that there are two methods. One is FIFO and another one is weighted average method is being allowed by the accounting standard. But there are another two methods also there, LIFO and simple average method. But accounting standard not allowed you to do account under this method. So there is a rigidness, lack of flexibility is there. But it may happen, it may found that a particular situation, LIFO is the best method. It may happen. In reality, it may happen, but accounting standard is not allow you. So there is a lack of flexibility. Another one is restricted scope. Restricted scope means accountant only told us that what financial statement, what financial information or events should be reported in the financial statement. Not told us to report anything, any non-financial information. But today's environment, some non-financial information is very urgent to take any relevant decision side by side of the financial information in the financial statement. Although in practical, you may found that some non-financial information is also being disclosed in the annual report of the company due to the fulfillment of the requirement of various regulatory authorities. Okay, so these are the limitations of the accounting standard. Now, very important things, that is standard setting process in India. Particularly these steps we should explain, I should explain. Actually, these steps has been followed in our India to formulate any accounting standard. To formulate any accounting standard, our apex body is the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. In the year 1977, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India constitute a board which is named as Accounting Standard Board, ASB, Accounting Standard Board. The main objective to constitute of this board is to formulate the accounting standard in India. Okay, and the accounting standard board compositions of various representatives from industry, associations of industry, regulators, academician, and government departments, etc., etc. Actually, accounting standard board is a body constituted by the Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountant. It is an independent in formulation of accounting standard. And what are the steps followed to formulate the accounting standard? The first step is identification of area. Actually, the problem is identified in the industry, and this problem which has been faced by the industry to prepare the books of account, they report the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, ICAI, and after getting this feedback or after getting the information from several corners of the nation, the accounting standard board identify that it is the area where an accounting standard is needed. Where a accounting standard is needed. Actually, this specific area is being established by the accounting standard board itself, which is known as the first step, the very first step, this is identification of area where the accounting standard is needed. After identification of the area, the second step is constitution of study group to consider a specific project. I mean, one study group is prepared, one study group is formulated to issue or to formulate accounting standard on a particular area to address a particular or specific project. And this study group prepare a preliminary draft of the proposed accounting standards. These drafts normally includes objective and scope of the standard, definition of the term used in the standard, recognition and measurement principle wherever applicable, and presentation and disclosure requirement. Presentation and disclosure requirement. This would be the preliminary draft which is being prepared by the study group. Okay. And this study group, this preliminary draft should be circulated, and consideration of the preliminary draft prepared by the study group of the Accounting Standard Board and revision, if any, of the draft on the basis of the deliberation made by the study group before the Accounting Standard Board. Okay, and then it should circulate it of the draft of the accounting standard after revision of the Accounting Standard Board. I mean, after preparation of the preliminary draft, these study groups should submit it or should deliver a lecture deliberation before the Accounting Standard Board, and Accounting Standard Board and study group togetherly may modify or revise the preliminary draft and then circulate of these draft to the council member of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India and specified outside bodies such as Ministry of Corporate Affairs, Security Exchange Board of India, Comptroller Auditor General in India, Central Board of Direct Tax, Standing Conference of Public Enterprise, etc. for their comment. Okay. Then next step, that is ascertainment of views of different bodies on draft. Meeting with the representative of specified outside bodies to ascertain their views on the draft of the proposed accounting standard. If they suggest to incorporate anything and it would be accepted by all the things, they can incorporate the things. So in this way, they prepare, they ascertain the views of different things. And then next step, that is the finalization of exposure draft of the proposed accounting standard and its issuance inviting public comments. And after considering the comment, the exposure draft has been finalized and it is being open for the public comment. Then consideration of the final draft of the proposed standard by the Council of the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, and if found necessary, modification of the draft in consultation with the Accounting Standard Board is done. This exposure draft can be modified by the Accounting Standard Board, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India, but keep in mind, to modify this exposure draft, they have to consult with the Accounting Standard Board. Okay. Then the last step, that is the issuance of the standard, accounting standard. Actually, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has the authority to formulate the accounting standard, but it has no such legal authority to issue the accounting standard. Actually, this Institute of Chartered Accountant of India extend this or transfer this accounting standard to the Ministry of Corporate Affairs for public issuance or for issuance with the consultation with National Financial Reporting Authority, NAFRA, NFRA, National Financial Reporting Authority. I mean, Ministry of Corporate Affairs, I mean, central government has the authority to issue of any accounting standard for the corporate entities. Yes, there is another conception, another thing is also there. Institute of Chartered Accountant of India is also issued the mandate to their chartered accountant. I mean, other than corporate, I mean, non-corporate body can follow. Actually, accounting standard not only follow by the corporate form of business entity, rather non-corporate form of business entities also follow. How? Although the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has no authority to issue the accounting standard, but they can mandate the chartered accountant to follow the accounting standard when they attest the financial statement auditing activities. So in this way, the accounting standard actually used by every form of business entities. If it is a corporate form, then obviously there is a rules, there is a regulation of the Companies Act, they bound to follow. And if this is not the corporate form, then you have to found that you have to analyze that this entity is doing or relates to any business, commerce or trade activities or not. If these entities is involved with any business, trade, commerce activities, then this entity is also bound to follow the accounting standard which is mandate given by the Institute of Chartered Accountant of India to their member, chartered accountant. And in this way, the here applicability and status of the accounting standard, corporates is, I have already told, non-corporates are involved in commerce, business, trades. But in case of the charitable institute, they are not bound to follow the accounting standard. At present, as per the Companies Accounting Standard Rule 2006, there are 27 notified accounting standards which have to follow. And who is to be follow the accounting standard? The Institute of Chartered Accountant of India has segregated the enterprise into three levels: level 1, level 2, level 3. Level 1 enterprise are required to mainly comply all the accounting standard in toto, but level 2 and 3 enterprise, I mean, they are very small in size. I am not explaining which entities should be categorized as level 1 and level 2, level 3 due to the paucity of the time, but you may found very easily. But one thing I must mention here, that level 2 and 3 enterprise are required to comply with all accounting standard related to recognition and measurement, but some exemption is given relating to the disclosure related accounting standard. Okay, so this is the present status of the what I can say, the accounting standard, AS. Now another part, that is need for global standards. Need for global standards. What I have explained before this, all of the old or existing accounting standard. Now we are thinking about the global scenario. Actually, the globalization and diversity in reporting practices across the globe create the urgency of a uniform, robust, high-quality set of international standards. Keep in mind very carefully, when I have talked about the accounting standard in India, I have told you that there is a diversity in accounting practices within a particular nation. But now I am talking about, now I am intended to tell you that there is a diversity not only in a particular nation, rather there is a diversity in accounting practices in across the globe in various countries due to the differences in their culture, rules, regulation, belief, value. It is obvious that the accounting practice should be different from country to country. But in this globalization era, when there is no boundary in the nation, when the globe become a village, when any entities do business from any corner of the world, then it is very urgent to establish a robust, high quality set of international standard. I am talking about the term international standard, not the national standard. To address this prime needed, one privately funded international body, International Accounting Standard Committee, was established in London in the year 1973. Since the establishment, it had issued a series of accounting standards, namely International Accounting Standard. The foreign companies, the multinational companies, has to follow this standard to prepare their financial statement. Actually, take an example, it will be easy to use. Suppose a multinational company, Indian company, they have the subsidiary or they have the branch in any foreign land. Then these company, or they are enlisted in any foreign stock exchange. In that case, this Indian company, multinational company, has to report two sets of financial statement, one under the Indian GAAP, another one of the by using the International Accounting Standard. So two sets of books of account has to prepare when there is a global standard. As a result, the entity still has to spend huge effort and cost to prepare the financial statement. And also, user become confused due to the multi-set of report. I mean, global standard, international standard itself is fails to remove the confusion from the mind of the users because of two sets of accounting standard has to follow to prepare their books of account of the multinational companies. So in this perspective, the process of convergence or adoption or convergence gained momentum throughout the world. And for this purpose, IFRS, International Financial Reporting Standards, had been recognized as a strong base. I mean, this convergent process has been based with or started with IFRS. IFRS become a base to converge from various national standards. Now, what is IFRS? IFRS is nothing. International Financial Reporting Standard is being issued by the International Accounting Standard Board from the year 2001. Actually, this is the successor body of the International Accounting Standard Committee, which was established in the year 1973. From the year 2001 onwards, this International Accounting Standard Board, what pronouncement is being issued or what accounting standard being issued, the name of this standard is International Accounting Standard Board. And before 2001, this body, the name was International Accounting Standard Committee. What pronouncement was issued? This was the name of this standard was International Accounting Standard. Okay, actually both are the same. The IFRS, the family of the IFRS is actually comprised of what? The ISB, IFRS issued by the ISB, IS issued by the ISC, and interpretation issued by the Standing Interpretation Committee, and International Financial Reporting Interpretation Committee of the ISB. These are the family of the IFRSs. Now, why convergence is needed? I have already discussed that although there is a global standard, international standard, but there is a two set of books of account has to be prepared on the basis of the domestic gap and by following the international gap. So to remove such things, the adoption or convergence with the IFRS become urgent, become necessary. Okay, and it means convergence is nothing. This is the happy marriage of national and international accounting standards. Okay, to achieve synchronizing in reporting practices. Convergent movement is a logical extension of harmonization process toward improving comparability of the financial report across the group. Actually, this is the way. This is not the last one. I think it would be finished with, I mean, this convergent process, international accounting standard, all the things would finished with a single accounting standard throughout the globe. When it would be established, I think there would be the end point. But we are in a journey. Okay, why these things is being diversity in accounting standard and practice among the countries due to the convergence become necessities, lack of harmony among the government standard setting bodies and regulatory agency to promote internationally comparability, to remove qualitative differences, a single set of standard can be used. Yes, single set of standard, but in case of the convergence, there is not a single set of convergence, single set of standard. Single set of standard would be there if we adopt the IFRS in word to word or line by line. But it is in our India, we adopt the convergent process. That's why it is not possible to a single set of standard. Rather, we are trying to follow the IFRS, but we modify these IFRSs as per our Indian norms, Indian beliefs, Indian rules. Okay, and obviously to have the globally accepted, uniform, robust, and quality set of standards. Ind AS is nothing. This is the outcome of the convergent process. Ind AS are IFRS converged standard issued by the central government of India under the supervision and control of Accounting Standard Board of Institute of Chartered Accountant of India in consultation with the National Financial Reporting Authority. You see, India not adopt the IFRS, but it conversed with this IFRS. I mean, the IFRS is not totally implemented in our India. They modify. Who modify? Accounting Standard Board in consultation. There was a task force, obviously, an Accounting Standard Board, Institute of Chartered Accountant of India. They modify these IFRSs in the line of our Indian perspective, Indian requirement, Indian legal requirement, taxation system. All the things is being taken into consideration before modifications of these IFRS. And after certain or silly modification, what standard become developed in the line or a line of these IFRS, which is known as IND AS, which is known as IND AS, which is being notified by the central government of India. Companies Indian Accounting Standard Act 2015 notified. Okay, and convergence with IFRS has several advantages, that globalization and liberalization, it is possible, and transparency of the financial statement, comparability of the financial statement enhanced throughout the globe, not in a particular nation. When we are talking about the existing accounting standard, they maintain the comparability or diversity, remove the diversity within a particular nation. But when we are talking about the IND AS or the global accounting standard, there is a diversity. There would be remove the diversity in accounting practices throughout the globe. In international scenario, they remove the diversity. All throughout the world, they are practicing their accounting in an uniform manner. There should be no diversification in the accounting practices throughout the world. Then next is the applicability and status of IND AS. Applicability and status of IND AS. Sorry. This is my last slide. And this, this I have already told you that the Ministry of Corporate Affairs has also notified the much awaited companies rules 2015 to notify these 39 IND AS. At present, there is a 39 IND AS. But these 39 IND AS for commercial or service providing entities, not for banking companies or insurance companies or any non-banking financial institution. Actually, these accounting standards IND AS should be implemented in a, not should be, rather implemented in our India in a phased manner from 1st April 2015 voluntarily, and it become mandatory from 1st April 2016 for a large group of companies. I mean, 1st April 2016. The company those are listed or in the process of listed or and having net worth of rupees more than 500 crore and from the 1st April 2016 they are must to follow these IND AS for preparation their books of account. And from the year 1st April 2017, the companies those are listed on the stock exchange or in the process of listing in the stock exchange and or having net worth of 250 crore or more will started their financial reporting under IND AS. Actually, at present in our India, there are two sets of accounting standard. One set is existing AS and another one is IND AS, which is converged with the IFRS. The group of company, the specific criterion is mentioned, which is the group of company which is follow the IND AS. The other group of companies should follow the accounting standard, I mean existing or the old accounting standard. Actually, both of these two set of accounting standard at present is relevant or at present is exist in our Indian scenario. Okay, thank you, that's all. Now if any question, if you have any question, then you may raise. I try to answer your question.
Sir, there is no question as of now for raise so far. So there is no question raised, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Thank
you
you,
very
sir.
much. Thank you once again to all of you for giving me the opportunity for discussing and for sharing with you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
thank you,
sir.
sir. Thank you. बोलो
Thank you,
बोलो
sir.
सुकन्या सर मैम बोलो.
Thank you, sir. The session was really
Thank you.
very beneficial. The in-depth discussion of the accounting standards was really very helpful. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Namaskar,
Thank you.
sir.
Namaskar, 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 namaskar.
Namaskar.
Thank you, thank you.
Thank
Outstanding,
you.
outstanding.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Acha Sukanya next.
Hmm. Okay. So the next session will be taken up by Brahma Chaudhuri sir. Brahma Chaudhuri sir is an assistant professor WBES in the Department of Commerce at Jhargram Raj College, Jhargram, India. He has been serving the institution in various capacities for the last 6 years and is a member of various learned and academic bodies. He has presented numerous research papers in national or international conferences and has published scholarly research papers in the field of accounting, finance, CSR, corporate governance, banking, and insurance in reputed national and international journals. He has also co-edited 5 national-level peer-reviewed books titled Emerging Issues in Commerce and Management, August 2020, Emerging Issues in Banking, Insurance, and Financial Services, January 2021, and Emerging Issues in Business Research, August 2021, Business Research, a Multidimensional Perspective, January 2022, and Emerging Issues in Accounting and Finance Research, August 2022. As an additional responsibility, he has presently acting as a program officer NSS Unit 4 Jhargram Raj College and has also acted as the NSS Nodal Officer Jhargram District during the COVID-19 pandemic situation. Over to you, sir. Promo, sir.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible,
Am I
but your
audible?
voice is breaking. Your voice is breaking, sir. Uh,
Okay. So, am I
yes.
audible? Is there any network issue?
Yes, sir, you're audible, but your voice is breaking, sir, at times.
Okay. Let me try another position. Then. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. So, first of all, let me convey my heartfelt gratitude and sincere thanks to all our organizers, especially our Honorable President, Professor Dr. Deepti Kumar Chakraborty, and our Honorable Secretary, Professor Pema Lama, as well as all our honorable governing body members. So today my topic of discussion is valuation of goodwill, which is actually meant for the fifth semester students. It is in the fifth semester in the Calcutta University, and in other universities it is in the other semesters. So my since my topic of discussion is valuation of goodwill, so it will be first of all based on a theoretical discussion, a background of theoretical discussion that will be discussed, and then before proceeding to the practical part, I will be discussing on the theoretical background, and then I will proceed to the practical background. So for this, let me share my screen. Is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible, sir.
Okay. So this is on valuation of goodwill, and so first let me just introduce the concept of goodwill. It is known to us all what goodwill is all about. Goodwill is actually the good name, reputation, or positive image of an enterprise which enables to earn the supernormal profit over the normal return of investment. It has been defined by the accountant, by the famous accountant Lord Lindley, as benefit arising from connection and reputation, and its value is what can be got for the change of being able to keep that connection and improve it. That is, it is something which is valuable in nature, which cannot be seen, it is intangible in nature, and which helps an company or a firm to earn superior earning capacity. That is, it can earn more than the normal profit, the supernormal profit. It can earn supernormal profit by generation of this goodwill. Goodwill derives from various values. That is, it can be due to the personal reputation of the entrepreneur or the brand image of that particular company or that product they are producing or manufacturing. It can be due to the managerial skill, due to trust of customers, reliable after sales service, and so on. So it is an intangible asset which cannot be seen, but which is inherent within a business due to its various intangible attributes. So a business must survive, and only a surviving or a growing business can have a goodwill. So it does not have any separate existence. Its existence is uh, totally linked with that of the business. And this value of the goodwill is dependent on the subjective judgment of the valuer. So whatever will be the value of the goodwill, whatever we consider to be the value of the goodwill, it is subjective in nature, and it can differ from accountant to accountant. And that is where this application of the valuation, different methods of valuation of goodwill has arisen. So now, before we move into the valuation of goodwill part, just let me discuss about the various types of goodwill. Now, goodwill can be of two types. When there is suppose an amalgamation or a purchase of any firm, or amalgamation, absorption of any firm, or takeover of any firm. In case of, even in case of partnership, we had seen that when there is an acquisition of a new partner, or the death or retirement of a partner, we um, have solved sums on the treatment of goodwill. Similar in case of company, since a company has goodwill, and this goodwill is has to be shown in the balance sheet, and that is why whenever there is any purchase consideration due to the amalgamation, absorption, or any type of capital reorganization, then the question of purchase goodwill arises. So purchase goodwill is nothing but it is the goodwill which arises when one business buys another, and the purchase consideration paid is more than the value of the net and tangible assets received. It arises in case of an acquisition. It is demonstrated by a purchase transaction. Price paid for goodwill depends upon the purchaser's expectation of future profits, and it is recognized in financial statements. So in case of purchased goodwill, it is very easy to calculate because the purchase transaction itself carries the component of goodwill, and whatever is the difference between the net tangible assets received and the purchase consideration, if that is positive in nature, then that becomes a purchased goodwill. So very easy to calculate, no need for any different methods of valuation of goodwill in case of purchased goodwill. But when the goodwill is inherent within an enterprise due to the good name, reputation, brand image of an enterprise, then it is known as the inherent goodwill. So inherent goodwill or non-purchase goodwill refers to intangible assets which have been accumulated and accumulated goodwill over the years. So goodwill, since it is internally generated, it is inherent within an enterprise, and it is non-purchase goodwill. So valuation is also subjective in nature, and it depends on the subjective judgment of the valuer. It is not demonstrated by a purchase consideration, and it is never recognized in financial statements. So this is the inherent goodwill. Now this method of valuation of goodwill arises when we have to determine what is the actual value of the inherent goodwill. So main focus will be on the determination of the value of the inherent goodwill. Now, in case of valuation of goodwill, there are various methods. Now, these methods have arisen due to the various customs of trade, and it is calculated as the number of years purchase of average profits or super profits. It differs due to the various application. Now, first and foremost, there is the method known as the average profit method, in which is again subdivided into two categories: simple average profit method and weighted average profit method. So first of all, first method is the when we take into consideration the average profit earned by a business enterprise over a number of years, and when we multiply it with the number of years of purchase, then we get the value of the goodwill. Now this average profit is again of two types. It may be either based on simple average profit or maybe based on weighted average profit. Now when simple average is applied, when a weighted average is applied, that will be explained later on. Next, and the most popular method, especially very important for our undergraduate students of various universities, is the super profit method. Various sums, practical problems have to be solved on super profit method, and various examination, different undergraduate examinations, we have also seen that questions are set on this valuation of goodwill based on super profit method. So I will be also explaining one practical problem on super profit method, a simple problem on super profit method, but there are various finer points that will be explained in the next slides on super profit method. And after the super profit method, we have also got the capitalization method, which is again the capitalization of the simple average profit, that is the capitalization of average profit, or the capitalization of super profit. And lastly, there is the annuity method, where we multiply the annuity factor to determine the value of the goodwill. So basically, goodwill can be determined by four major methods: average profit method, super profit method, capitalization method, and annuity method. And this average profit may again be subdivided into two categories: simple average profit method and weighted average profit method. And capitalization may be either of capitalization of average profit or capitalization of super profit. So let me now discuss about the average profit method. Average profit method, in this method, goodwill is valued on the basis of a certain number of years of purchase of the average profits of the past few years. Average may be a simple or weighted. The value of goodwill is calculated by multiplying the adjusted annual profits by the number of years purchase. Now question arises, what actually is the adjusted annual profits? What we deduce from any profit and loss account is the gross profit and the net profit at the end of a particular year, financial year, for any business firm. Now this particular net profit or this gross profit, the net profit, that is the profit that is calculated at the end of the year, has some abnormal items. There may be certain abnormal items like the loss of stock, or loss due to fire, due to outbreak of fire, or there may be certain abnormal items, that is overvaluation of stock, undervaluation of stock. So all these abnormal items which are not regular in the trading business or trading activities of the firm, not the normal trading activities of the firm, that must be either deducted or added depending upon the nature of that transaction. So this, after this adjustment, what we receive is the adjusted future profit, or the maintainable, adjusted trading maintainable profits. So how we calculate this? For calculating adjusted future profit or maintainable profits from the annual profit of the firm, we have to take into consideration these following type of expenses, like expenses or items, like all expenses and losses not likely to incur in future as extraordinary salary of a person or abnormal losses are to be added to the profits. Because if the abnormal items, abnormal expenses have occurred or losses have been incurred due to the certain contingencies, then that is not incurred in the normal cases. Under normal circumstances, that must be not taken into consideration, and if such type of expenses or losses have occurred, then that must be added back. Similarly, all profits likely to come in the future as profit due to new line of business are also added to profits. All expenses and losses occurred expected to occur in future as salary of directors, depreciation in future, cost of management are deducted from profits. Since these expenses and losses are not related to any kind of normal activities of the business, like the salary of directors, it is paid due to the special service given by the directors, or depreciation, which is again calculated in future, or cost of management that are not related to the manufacturing or
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. You are not audible, sir. Sir,
Hmm.
Promo sir has left, I think. There is some network issues, I think.
Network issue. Yes, yes. You wait for.
Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Okay. Due to poor network, so um, I was explaining the average profit slide. So, is the screen visible?
Yes, sir, now it's visible.
So I had explained. Did I explain average profit method?
Yes, sir, you were explaining it and your voice got cracked and somehow you lost the connection.
Okay. So this is the average profit. So for calculating the average profit in this, we calculate it on the basis of a certain number of years of purchase, and it may be either simple or weighted, and the annual profits has to be adjusted with the following type of items, like all expenses and losses not likely to incur in future, as extraordinary salary of a person or abnormal losses that have to be added to the profits. All profits likely to come in the future as profit due to new line of business, they are to be added to the profits. All expenses and losses expected to occur in future as salary of directors or depreciation, cost of management, they are to be deducted from profits. And profit not likely to recur are also to be deducted from profits. Now, simple average profit method has to be applied when there is fluctuation in profits, and it can be calculated by using the following formula, that is total adjusted profits for all the given years by number of years. And weighted average profit method has to be applied when weights are given, when weights like 1, 2, 3, 4 they are given, or there is a particular trend, either there may be an increasing trend or the decreasing trend, then we apply this weighted average profit method. And this weighted adjusted average profit will be the summation of the total product, that is the weights multiplied by the annual profit, and the sum of that is the total product, and when we divided it by the total weights, then we get the weighted average adjusted profit. And then value of the goodwill will be this adjusted average profit into number of years of purchase. I'll be explaining it in the sum by the help of an example just after explaining the super profit method. Now, super profit method, which is very important for the undergraduate students. In this method, goodwill is based on the average annual super profit earned by the business. The term super profit means the profit over and above the normal profit. For computation of super profits, the following factors are required. That is the normal rate of return, average capital employed, and normal profit. So we have to know what is the normal rate of return that must be given. Average capital employed must be calculated, that may be calculated by considering the asset side or the liabilities side, and normal profit. Now, for computation of this value of goodwill under the super profit method, first of all, we have to know what is the capital employed of the business. This capital employed, then annual capital employed may be adjusted by deducting half of the average profit, and we get the average capital employed. Or if the opening capital employed and closing capital employed is given, then the average of the capital employed that has to be taken into consideration. Next step is we calculate the normal profit by multiplying the capital employed with normal rate of return. That what is the normal profit what a business will earn in its normal course of its activities. So what is the capital employed? That has to be multiplied with the normal rate of return that a business can expect over carrying out its activities, and then we get the normal profit. Third step is the calculation of the average maintainable profit of the business. That is the annual profit less various add or less various adjustments, and we get the average maintainable profit of the business. What the business is able to generate the profit in the business through its trading activities, that is the average maintainable profit of the business, that has to be calculated. Next step is this average maintainable profit, what we have calculated. From that we have to deduct the normal profit. So in this step what we have to do, we have to first of all from this average maintainable profit we have to deduct the normal profit, and then what we receive is the super profit. So super profit is received by deducting the value obtained in step 2 from that obtained in step 3, and then we calculate the value of the goodwill. This value of the goodwill is the super profit into the number of years purchase. So let me just explain this particular method through this illustration given here. Now, is this visible? Is this visible?
Yes, sir, the screen is visible.
Okay. So let me just read out this problem. This is a problem where we have to calculate the value of the goodwill. The balance sheet is given of a particular company. Now, balance sheet is actually now in vertical format, but for the practicality, I have shown it in the T format. In the liabilities side, we have equity share capital, capital reserve, surplus account, creditors, depreciation fund, which comprises of land and building and machinery. And in the asset side, we have goodwill, land and building, machinery, stock, debtors less provision for doubtful debts, and cash and bank balances. So we have the assets value of various assets are given, fixed assets as well as current assets. And in the liabilities side, the equity share capital, capital reserve comprising the shareholders fund, surplus account comprising the shareholders fund, as well as the debentures and short-term creditors, that is the current liabilities, all are given. Now, what is required is that we have to calculate the value of the goodwill using the following information. The reasonable rate of return, that is the normal rate of return on capital employed, is 12%. So normal rate of return is given in the problem. Now, company's average profits for the last 5 years after making 50% provision for taxation amounted to 47,500. This particular information is also available here. Present market value of the land and building is 1,10,000. Now, land and building value given in the balance sheet, the book value is 95,000, but we have to take into consideration the market value. Market value is 1,10,000, and rest of the assets are to be taken at book value. That is rest of the assets. Now, we cannot take into consideration the goodwill because we have to calculate the value of the goodwill. So we will exclude that goodwill shown in the asset side. So that will be excluded. Apart from that, all the various assets, fixed assets and current assets, have to be taken into consideration for calculating the capital employed. Fixed assets at current assets less current liabilities gives us the capital employed. Sorry. And after that, rest of the assets have to be taken at book value. And fourthly, one more information is given, that is the director's remuneration is rupees 5,000 per annum for 2 directors. So certain remuneration is paid to the directors at 5,000 per annum. So for 2 directors, it will be 10,000. Now this goodwill of business, actually it will be ABC Limited, is to be taken at 4 years purchase of super profits of the company. Also calculate the value of the goodwill taking 3 years purchase of average profits. So these, we have to calculate the goodwill of this particular company, taking into consideration, first of all, first step, we have to calculate the average capital employed. In the next step, average capital employed and normal rate of return, that has to be multiplied and we get the normal profit. Now adjusted average profit is given. So from that average profit, we have to adjust for this director's remuneration, and then we will get the adjusted average profit. Then from that adjusted average profit, we will have to deduct the normal profit, and then we will get what is the super profit. So from that super profit, we have to multiply 4 years purchase of super profit. 4 years purchase of super profit, we will get the value of the goodwill as per the super profit method. And if we take the 3 years purchase of average profit, we will get the value of the goodwill under the average profit method. So I will be explaining. I have already shown the explanation, that is the solution in my slide. So I will be explaining it simultaneously by showing this slide and the question slide. So first of all, we are calculating the capital employed. Now land and building, just the previous slide you see here, land and building, the market value of the land and building is 1,10,000. So the market value of land and building has to be taken into consideration. So land and building value is 1,10,000. Next, all other items, book value has to be taken into consideration. So for machinery, stock, debtors less provision for doubtful debts, and cash and bank balances. Actually, let me just. Yes. So here you see land and building, the market value, it is 1,10,000. For machinery, stock, debtors less provision for doubtful debts and cash and bank balances, we are taking into consideration the book values. That is, the book values is machinery book value is 60,000, stock book value is 57,500, debtors less provision for doubtful debts, it is the 47,500, and cash and bank balances is 3,500. So we will take into consideration the book value of these assets: machinery 60,000, stock 57,500, debtors 47,500 after deducting the provision for doubtful debts, and cash and bank balances 3,500. So by adding these assets at the book value as well as the market value, since land and building is market value is given, what we get is the summation of the fixed assets and the current assets. From that, we have to deduct the various current liabilities. Current liabilities in the given problem, current liabilities here we have creditors 63,000 and depreciation fund, the total of 15,000 and 7,500, that is the 22,500. So 22,500 depreciation fund is also given. So we are adding these two current liabilities, creditors 63,000 and depreciation fund 22,500. We are getting the total current liabilities as 85,500. So from the total of the current fixed assets and current assets, which gives the sum of rupees 2,78,500, we are deducting the current liabilities total 85,500, and we are getting the capital employed 1,93,000. So we have the capital employed value, we have calculated it, that is the very first step, and the capital employed is 1,93,000. Now in the next step, we have to calculate the reasonable rate of return is given 12%. So what will be the normal profit? So we have to calculate that. So in the third step, we are calculating the normal profit. Now normal profit is reasonable return on capital employed, which is shown here. Reasonable return on capital employed, that is 12% of 1,93,000. This is the 12% on 1,93,000, that is 23,160. This is the normal profit. Now this normal profit will be deducted from the average adjusted average profit. So adjusted average profit, so for calculation of adjusted average profit, we will again move back to the problem. In the problem, see the point number 2. Point number 2, company's average profits for the last 5 years after making 50% provision for taxation amounted to 47,500. So 47,000 is the average profit before making any sort of adjustment. So we will have to take into consideration these average profits of last 5 years after tax, that is 47,500. So these average profit, what it will be before tax? Before tax, since tax is 50%, so add 50% tax, corporate tax, that will be added, and then it will be 47,500 into 100 by 50, that is the average profit before tax is 95,000. Now this 95,000 is before any sort of adjustment. Now since the directors are getting remuneration at rupees 5,000 and there are two directors, so the director's remuneration is 2 into 5,000, that is 10,000. So from the average profit before tax, we are deducting the director's remuneration 10,000 and we are getting the average profits, that is 85,000. This is after adjustment, the average profit is 85,000, and then again we will deduct the corporate tax 50%, 85,000 less 50% tax, that is 42,500, and then the adjusted average profit is 42,500. So what we have done, we have calculated the adjusted average profit. Adjusted average profit is the average profit after adjusting all the abnormal items. In this case, since average profit after tax was given, so we calculated the average profit before tax, that came about rupees 95,000. From that, we deducted the special items or the abnormal items, that like the director's remuneration. Since this simple problem, only director's remuneration has been given, so we are deducting the director's remuneration 10,000 and we are getting the adjusted average profit before tax 85,000. From that, we are deducting the corporate tax 50% and we are receiving the adjusted average maintainable profit to be 42,500. Now, in the problem, the reasonable expected return, it was 12%. See here, it was 12%. Reasonable rate of return on capital employed is 12%. And we have also calculated the adjusted average profit. We have also calculated the capital employed as 1,93,000. So now what we require is, from the adjusted average annual profit, we have to deduct the normal rate of return on capital employed. So you see here, from the adjusted average profits after tax in future, 42,500, we are deducting the reasonable return on capital employed. Capital employed was 1,93,000, and 12% on 1,93,000 is 23,160. So we are deducting the normal profit that the business has earned over the year, 23,160, and the difference between the adjusted average profit and the normal profit is the super profit. So business is earning a super profit of 19,340. So this has been calculated by following the steps. First of all, we calculated the capital employed. From the capital, after calculation of the capital employed, we calculated the adjusted average annual profit. And after that, we are deducting the reasonable return on capital employed. That is the 12% on the capital employed. We are deducting it, and we are receiving the super profit. So super profit comes to rupees 19,340. Now, what will be the value of the goodwill? The value of the goodwill under the super profit method will be the super profit into number of years purchase. In this particular problem, you will see that number of years purchase is 4 years. So goodwill will be equal to super profit 19,340 into number of years purchase, that is 4 years. So that is 19,340 multiplied by 4, we are getting 77,360. So that is the value of the goodwill under the super profit method. Now in the problem, you will see here in the problem, we were also required to calculate the value of the goodwill under the average profit method. And under the average profit method, you will see here, value of the goodwill has to be taken by calculating the 3 years purchase of average profits. Also calculate the value of the goodwill by taking the 3 years purchase of average profits. So we will calculate the value of the goodwill by taking the 3 years average profit, 3 years purchase of average profit, and that will be, average profit is 42,500. Average profit is 42,500, and we are multiplying it with the 3 years purchase of average profit. So 42,500 into 3, and the value of the goodwill is 1,27,500. So very clear, it is very clear to us all that this value of the goodwill is very subjective in nature. It differs upon the value of this goodwill will differ from the type of method we are using. When we are using the super profit method, the value of the goodwill what we have arrived at is rupees 77,360. And when we are calculating it from the viewpoint of the average profits method, we are getting 1,27,500. So this is the difference between the super profit method and the average profit method. In the case of the average profit method, only the average profit, average adjusted annual profit has to be calculated, and with that we multiply the number of years of purchase. And in case of valuation of goodwill under super profit method, we have to first of all calculate the capital employed, then we will have to calculate the adjusted annual maintainable profit, and then from the adjusted annual maintainable profit we have to deduct the normal profit earned by the business, that is the reasonable rate of return on capital employed, and then we obtain the super profit. And after that we multiply the super profit with the number of years purchase, and we obtain the value of the goodwill. So this is how we calculate the value of goodwill under super profit method. So what I have explained till now is the annual profit method, which may be simple average profit or weighted average profit, as well as the super profit method. Now we will move to the next slide. That is the capitalization method, capitalization of average profit method. Now under this method, the business unit is valued by applying the following formula. First of all, we have to calculate the value of the firm. So value of the firm is calculated by applying the formula total value of the firm equal to average maintainable profit by normal rate of return into 100. That is average maintainable profit or the adjusted annual maintainable profit, what we have calculated in our sum. We will also solve it. So that particular profit has to be determined, that has to be calculated, and it will be divided by the normal rate of return earned by the business. And since it is a percentage, we will have to multiply it with 100. So what we will get is the total value of the firm. And value of the goodwill will be calculated by deducting the net assets of the firm from the total value of the firm. So value of goodwill in this case will be calculated by this following formula: value of goodwill equal to total value of the firm less net assets of the firm. So from our previous example, we had already calculated the average maintainable profit. See here, the average maintainable profit in the previous slide, you will see here, the average maintainable profit is 42,500. So average, we know the average maintainable profit. We also know what is the normal rate of return. Normal rate of return on capital employed given in the particular problem is 12%. So what we will do is average maintainable profit, that is the adjusted annual maintainable profit, 42,500 divided by the normal rate of return 12%. Since it is a percent, so we will have to multiply it with 100. So 42,500 by 12 into 100, we will get the value to be value of the firm to be 3,54,166.67. This is the value of the firm, 3,54,166.67. So we have calculated the value of the firm. Now we will have to calculate the value of the goodwill. So from this value of the firm, we will have to deduct the net assets of the firm. Net assets means the capital employed. Net assets is nothing but the capital employed by the firm, capital employed of the firm. So we had already calculated the capital employed to be 1,93,000. We had already calculated it in our earlier example to be capital employed of the particular firm to be 1,93,000. So what we will do, since we have calculated the value of the firm to be 3,54,166.67 by applying the formula value of the firm equal to average maintainable profit by normal rate of return into 100. So since we have calculated that, so from this value of the firm, we will deduct the capital employed 1,93,000, and what we will receive is the value of goodwill, that is 1,61,166.67. So that will be the value of the goodwill, 1,61,166.67. So in this case, we are capitalizing the average profit. We are capitalizing the average profit by applying the normal rate of return. And this we are getting the value of the firm, and from the value of the firm we are deducting the average trading capital employed, average capital employed or the capital employed of the firm, and what we receive, the excess of this value of the firm over its capital employed, that excess is that surplus is the value of the goodwill. So in this way we can calculate the value of the goodwill by applying the average profit method. Next, we will again use the same example, and we will know how the capitalization of super profit is calculated. By value of goodwill is calculated by applying the capitalization of super profit. So in this case, capitalization of super profit method, under this method, goodwill is calculated by capitalizing super profits at agreed rate. Super profits have to be calculated at first. So first criteria, you will have to calculate the super profit, and then you just capitalize this super profit by applying this formula: value of goodwill equal to super profit by normal rate of return into 100. Super profit by normal rate of return into 100. Now this direct formula can also be applied: goodwill equal to P minus RC by M, where P is the adjusted forecasted maintainable profit, R is the normal rate of return, C is the capital employed, and M is the capitalization ratio. Now this can also be applied if all this information like the adjusted forecasted maintainable profit, normal rate of return, capital employed, and capitalization ratio are given in the problem, then we can straight away apply this formula. And if we are able to calculate the value of the super profit, if we have already calculated the value of the super profit, then we will apply the formula given above. That is the super profit by normal rate of return into 100. So from the previous example, we had already calculated the super profits to be 19,340. We had already calculated the super profits to be 19,340. So what we will do, we will simply, under this capitalization of super profit method, we will simply apply this formula, super profit by normal rate of return into 100. So 19,340, that is the super profit, that is to be deducted by the 12% normal rate of return. So it will be 19,340 by 12 into 100, and what we will get is the 1,61,166.67. So value of the goodwill will be 1,61,166.67. Since we are applying this, capitalizing this super profit by applying this formula, super profit, what we have already calculated in our earlier example, we are dividing that by the normal rate of return, and we are multiplying, since it is in percentage form, we are multiplying it with 100, and we are getting the value of the goodwill to be 1,61,166.67. So you see, both the methods give the same result, that is the super profit. We are getting the one result because we are multiplying the purchase of 4 years purchase of super profit and 3 years purchase of average profit, so we are getting different result. But in case of capitalization of average profit method, we are getting the same result. Capitalization of average profit method as well as capitalization of super profit method, we are getting the same result. So in this way, we have also shown how we can calculate the value of goodwill by applying the average profit method and as well as the super profit method. So we have already covered the average profit method, simple average, weighted average, super profit method, and the capitalization method. And now we will move over to the annuity factor. In this annuity factor, annuity means a series of periodic payments which occurs at regular intervals of time. That means certain payments are being made at regular intervals of time, and at the end of that particular time period, we will get a huge lump sum value. So in under this annuity method, it is considered that this goodwill is generated over the number of years, and that cannot be calculated at the very beginning or at the very end. So the number of years, the periodic payments towards the goodwill, that has to be considered, and that is why this annuity factor is applied. So under this annuity method, goodwill is calculated by taking the average super profit as the value of an annuity over a certain number of years. So this value of annuity, that has to be considered, because this goodwill is not generated over a particular, or in a particular year only. That is generated over a number of years, and so this annuity over a certain number of years has to be considered, and goodwill is calculated by applying this annuity method. So here also we will have to know what is the average super profit of the business, and that has to be multiplied with the annuity factor. So the present value of the above annuity discounted at the given rate of interest, that is the normal rate of return, whatever will be the normal rate of return, that 12%, if 12%, then that 12%, it has to be discounted with the 12% rate, and then we will obtain the present value of that particular annuity. So present value of the above annuity discounted at the given rate of interest, normal rate of return, is the value of the goodwill. And this value of the goodwill can be calculated by applying the following formula: V equal to A by I is nothing but the rate of interest, A is the average super profit, into 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I to the power n. This is the annuity factor. This is actually the annuity factor, 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I to the power n into I, that is the annuity factor. So if annuity factor is given, we will straight away multiply the average super profit with the annuity factor, and we will get the value of the annuity. If the annuity factor is not given, then we can derive that annuity factor by applying this formula, A by I, that is average profit by rate of interest, into 1 minus 1 by 1 plus I whole to the power n. So in this way, we can calculate the annuity method. In most of the problems, you will find that the annuity factor will be already given. So what you will require is to calculate the super profit. When you calculate the super profit, you simply multiply the super profit with the annuity factor, and then you can calculate the value of the goodwill by the product of this annuity factor with the super profit. So this is the annuity method. So these are all methods of calculation, various methods of valuation of goodwill under the inherent goodwill. So in case of inherent goodwill, we calculate the value of the goodwill by using either the average profit, which may be super simple average profit, or the weighted average profit, or we may calculate it by applying the super profit method. We may calculate it by applying the capitalization of average profit or super profit, and we may also calculate the value of the goodwill by applying the annuity method. Now, the last part of my discussion, that is how to calculate the value of the purchased goodwill. Here, certain points are to be considered for calculating the value of the purchased goodwill. So, this purchased goodwill is nothing but the residual or excess of the cost over the fair value of the identified net assets acquired. That means, what is the purchase consideration? So, that purchase consideration is the cost of acquiring a particular business. So, that cost over and above the fair value of the identifiable net assets acquired. That means the purchase consideration less the capital employed or the net fair value of the business or the net assets acquired, that has to be first of all identified or calculated. If that is a positive sum, then it becomes the purchased goodwill. That is whatever you are purchasing, that whatever is your purchase consideration over and above the fair value of the identifiable net assets acquired, that is the purchase goodwill. So certain important points that has to be taken into consideration for determining the profits upon which goodwill is to be valued are: income from investments are to be excluded. Income from any asset not generally used in the business should be excluded, as also the value of the asset from capital employed. Abnormal profits and losses arising from abnormal circumstances should be eliminated from the profits of the years in which they occurred. Charges of depreciation should be carefully reviewed. Excessive remuneration, that is above normal or fair remuneration paid to the owners or directors, should be written back by the amount it exceeds over fair remuneration. And abnormal expenditure on advertisements in a particular year should be properly adjusted. It should be allocated in such a fashion that each year is charged with the average normal expenditure on investment. So all these factors are to be taken into consideration. All these points are to be noted in determining profits upon which goodwill is to be valued. So these were all the methods of the valuation of goodwill. Now, this is all. Thank you. So, so that is all from my part. So if there is any query, then I will be able to. I'll be able to explain with some more. I was not able to some time. Actually, this particular requires 1 more hour. Give a problem and solution on that simple problem. Solve any query.
Sir, your voice is breaking once again.
Okay. I have already explained since due to practical means 2 hours. So I was just able to explain it within 1 hour. So I have just solved a simple problem. If there is any query regarding any calculation, I starters in the group also. So that is all from my part. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The session was really very beneficial. It was really very interesting. Hope to hear from you soon, sir. Thank you so much, sir. So the next session will be taken up by Swati Chakraborty ma'am. Dr. Swati Chakraborty ma'am, presently working as the professor in the Department of Business, Royal Thimphu College, Thimphu, Bhutan. She is from Kolkata, India. She topped the examination for her BSc in Economics and earned an MSc in Economics with specialization in international economics from University of Calcutta. She holds an MBA with a specialization in operational management (IGNO) and graduate diploma in Operational Research Society of India, and a PhD in Quality Assurance Management, University of Calcutta. In addition, she is pursuing a postdoctoral program. She has 22 years of experience in industry and academics. She served as a project research assistant with Scholar Car and Associates for 7 years and a lecturer with Allahabad University offshore campus in Calcutta for another 2 years. She also worked as a senior lecturer for BBA and MBA students at Garden City College in Bangalore for 5 years. She has 25 publications in national and international journals. She is also the author of 8 books and 4 edited books. Over to you, ma'am.
Okay, good evening. Am I audible? Am
Yes,
I
ma'am, you're
audible?
audible.
Okay.
You're audible.
Let me try. Yes, let me try sharing my screen. Uh, okay. Okay. Is the screen? Can you all see the screen?
No, ma'am, the screen is not visible yet.
Is it okay now? Can it be
No,
seen
ma'am, the
now?
screen is not. No, ma'am, the screen
Okay.
is not visible.
Okay. Just a moment. Let me just see. Just a moment. Oh God. I don't know what exactly is the problem up here. Uh, okay, let me just check this. Okay.
Can I share, ma'am?
Sir, is this now? Is it okay? Is it coming, sir?
No, 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 ma'am.
Uh, Sir, yes, sir. I think there's some problem there with the screen sharing. Sir, if it's possible, then if you all can please share it, that will be really nice. I don't
Is
know.
it okay, ma'am?
Some problem has come up. Uh,
Is it
Sir,
visible?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Absolutely, sir. Right, sir. So, sir, can I start the class? Can I? Okay. Thank you so much. Good evening to all the respected dignitaries, and a very good evening to all my students who are up here. So, I will be talking on, like, you have a module paper called Principles of Management. So I'll be discussing with you more specifically. Sir, I can't see the screen, sir. The screen is not here. Right, sir. So I'll be discussing on the leadership concept of leadership, and what basically, because it's leadership that itself is a huge syllabus. It's a lot of things to talk of. But given the time constraint, I'll be just talking about, like, what when we talk of leadership, what's the basic difference between leader, and when we say leader and a manager, we tend to get confused with it. So I want to talk on that, and characteristics of a good leader, types of leadership on some of the basic, the most important ones, and I'll just go with the models, like the theories of leadership, the most important one that I'll do because of the time constraint, and PPT will be shared with y'all, and so y'all can refer to it. So, sir, next slide, please. Okay, so this is where we start with. It's as per Steve Jobs, we all know, who started the company, Apple company, where he had to say that management is about persuading people to do things they do not want to do. Like, যখন কাউকে করা হয় কি you're forced to do something, কিছু করতে চাইছি না but you're forced to do, যখন ফোর্স মানে ওই ফোর্সফুল ব্যাপারটা এসে যাচ্ছে, ইচ্ছার বিরুদ্ধে কাজ করা, দ্যাট ইজ ম্যানেজমেন্ট। কিন্তু ওয়েরাস যখন লিডারশিপের ব্যাপারটা আসে, লিডারশিপ কিন্তু লিডার কিন্তু কাউকে ফোর্স করায় না, পারফেক্ট লিডার ইন্সপায়ার করে। কি যে নিজের থেকে ফর এমপ্লয়ি নিজের থেকে ওটা আসে সব সময়, কি যে ওকে উই উইল ডু, আমরা উই আর ইন্সপায়ার্ড বাই সামওয়ান, কাউকে দেখে আমরা মোটিভেটেড হই, কাউকে দেখে আমরা ইন্সপায়ার হই, তাকে দেখে যেটা আমাদের যে কোয়ালিটিসটা আমার মধ্যে নেই, আর আই ফিল কি আমি পারবো না, আই ডোন্ট থিঙ্ক আই ক্যান ডু ইট, কাউকে দেখে আমরা মোটিভেটেড হই। স্যার স্ক্রিন টা তো নেই স্যার, the screen is not here sir. Yes sir, thank you sir. So that is where it comes about, so that's the basic difference. Next slide please. So that's basically the thing that I'm trying to say ki leadership, when we say leadership, it's influencing people, motivate and giving that feeling that ki I can do it, আমিও পারবো করতে, সে ইন দ্যাট ওই উইলিংনেসটা যেটা আসে কি ইয়েস আই ক্যান, বিকজ আই হ্যাভ আ রোল মডেল। লিডারশিপ বলতে ইজ আইডিয়াল লিডার যেখানে হি অর শি প্লেজ আ রোল মডেল, যাকে দেখে আমরা ইন্সপায়ার্ড হই। আমরা অনেক সময় বলি আমরা পারবো না, কিন্তু একজন কাউকে দেখে আমরা ইন্সপায়ার্ড হই যে না, দেয়ার সামওয়ান যে কিনা যে দেখাচ্ছে, যে করছে, তাকে বিলিভ করছে, যে হু অলসো ট্রাস্ট মি, যে আমাকে যখন বলছে কথাটা ইউ ক্যান, I get inspired. So that's basically the thing that ওইটাই ডিফারেন্স। whereas managers কি তখন ওই যে অর্ডারসটা দিচ্ছে ফোর্সফুলি, আমি না চাইলেও আমাকে করতে হবে, আই এম ফোর্সড টু ডু ইট, আই ডোন্ট বিলিভ ইট। সব সময় কি আমি করতে, আমার এটা, দিস ইজ মাই টাস্ক এন্ড আই হ্যাভ টু ডু ইট whether I like it or not। আমার চাওয়া পাওয়া, পছন্দ অপছন্দের ব্যাপারটা থাকে না। And when we talk of leadership, it সবসময় কি ফর্মাল সিচুয়েশন হতে হয় না, কি ইনফর্মাল সিচুয়েশন, কি ফ্রেন্ড সার্কেলের মধ্যেও হয়, কি কাউকে দেখে we get inspired from our friends, informal discussion এ কিছু হচ্ছে, it can be from a junior also, like someone youngster sitting there discussing, you get influenced। So not necessarily কি formal situation is সবসময় হতে হয় এটা। Next slide please sir. Right. So as we said, like leader, and a leader has to be someone who can lead, ওই ক্যাপাসিটিতে একটা টিমকে লিড করতে হবে, বিকজ লিডার ইজ আ রোল মডেল অ্যান্ড লিডার রিপ্রেজেন্টস দ্য কোম্পানি অর দি অর্গানাইজেশন অর কান্ট্রি ইন আ ম্যাক্রো পার্সপেক্টিভ। যখন someone who's representing the face, so has to be someone who has to have a superior position in that field, like should মানে যার ওই is able to control situation, able to command over others, able to influence over others, has to be someone just knowledge দিয়ে হয় না। There are a lot of knowledgeable people, but ওই commanding position পাওয়ারটা যদি না থাকে, ওইটা influencing পাওয়ারটা না থাকলে, তাহলে কিন্তু you cannot be a very good leader। Sir, next slide please. So what makes a leader, qualities of a very good leader? Next slide please. First, visionary. A leader has to be a visionary who can predict the future, ki looking কিভাবে predict করে, কি looking into the past experience, কি যা হয়েছে এখন, presence, analyzing the present situation, what এখন যেটা they predict করছে কি this is how কি that's where we see ourselves in the future, that's where we think it's going to go, and they should be able to predict কি এরকম ভাবে হতে পারে under normal circumstances। So has to be a good visionary, has to be honest in his work, in his or her work, has to have that integrity, the concept of integrity, ethical and integrity। So ethics ব্যাপারটা, the concept of ethics plays a vital role। কি ethics, moral values, ethics, এটা has to be there। So has to be a person who's honest and has that integrity power। তারপর has to be creative, thinking of something new নতুন কিছু আনতে হবে, ইনোভেটিভ, কারণ টুডেজ ওয়ার্ল্ড ইজ চেঞ্জিং, drastically changing every moment. Business environment is a dynamic environment, it's changing every moment. তো যদি কম্পিটিশনে থাকতে হয়, to get a competitive edge, to retain that position, that top position, or trying to go up on the top, the organization has to be coming up with new things, innovation powerটা থাকতে হবে, has to be. So the lead, it comes from the leader, কি leader ওখানে যে কে head করছে has to be creative, thinking of something new, always trying to come up with something unique, which would help the organization to go up there. Has to be confident, the person has to be confident, নিজের উপর ওই কনফিডেন্সটা থাকা খুব দরকার, কি না I can do it, it's going to work out, that confidence has to be there. Reality তে কি হবে সেটা তো, there are a lot of other factors which is beyond our control, but that confidence, that belief that yes we can do, confidence in making decisions, that whatever decision is made ki eta hobe. So that is there. Sir, next slide please, sir. ডিসাইসিভ মানে যেখানে ডিসিশন তো নিতে হয় অনেক সময়। হোয়াট হ্যাপেন্স ইজ কি আমরা একটা ডিসিশন নিতে হবে, উই আর ইন আ ডাইলেমিক সিচুয়েশন কি ডিসিশন নিতে হবে কি, দেন উই get tensed. A normal human being sometimes will get worried, what are we going to do, কি করব, নেব কি নেব না, যদি ফেল করি তখন কি হবে, লোকে কি বলবে, what would be the consequences. কিন্তু a leader has to take that risk of decision making ki no, this is I looking into the present situation, ওটাই যেটা বলছিলাম যে this is past ke analyze, looking into the past, analyze the present and predict the future. ওই প্রেডিকশনটা যখন প্রপার প্রেডিকশন কর, মোর অর লেস বলা যায় যে দিস ইজ দ্য নর্মাল ট্রেন্ড আসছে, দিস ইজ হাউ ইট লুকস লাইক, ওই ডিসিশন, ওই রিস্কটা নিতেই হবে। A good leader has to be a risk taker. Risk না নিলে corporate world শুধু কেন, and at the government level সব সময় হবে না, মানে সাকসেস হওয়া সম্ভব না, কিছু সময় রিস্ক ওইটা নিতে হয়। that risk taking power, that risk, the element of risk has to be there, that concept has to be there, that willingness, yeah, I'll take that risk, let's take that risk, let's see what happens, if things go wrong we'll handle it, এই ব্যাপারটা থাকতে হবে। সো রিস্ক টেকে, ওই ডিসিশন মেকিং, রিস্ক অফ ডিসিশন মেকিং, loyalty towards organizations, loyalty towards also their teammates, লুকিং, মানে যেখানে দেখতে হবে কি হিউম্যান টুয়ার্ডস দ্য হিউম্যান রিসোর্স, দ্য টিমে কি যারা আছে তাদের প্রতি ওই যে বিলিভটা, ওই লয়্যালটিটা থাকতে হবে, যে ট্রাস্টটা থাকতে হবে। আর যাদের যে হুএভার নিডস এনি ট্রেনিং, any skills to be updated, ওইটা করতে ওই that decision has to be made, that these are the people who has to go for this training. যেমন I'll just take an example, আমি যখন ব্যাঙ্গালোরে পড়াতাম, then I was being sent to Infosys for 2 weeks to go for a soft skills training, কারণ তখন মনে হয়েছিল my college management felt কি যে I am capable of it, I needed that, মানে আমি I'm more outspoken person, কিন্তু আমার ওইটাও দরকার ছিল along with my teaching. So they sent me there for 2 weeks, পুরো intensive training নিয়ে, believing in me that আমি ফিরে এসে I'll be training my fellow colleagues. So I had to do that, আমার করতে হয়েছিল। So ওই বিলিভটা যে আচ্ছা ওকে, these are the people who needs this training, needs to upgrade these skills, and being very vigilant about the team members এর কি দরকার, কি একটা অর্গানাইজেশনকে সাকসেসফুল হতে গেলে খালি লিডার সাকসেসফুল হলে তো, লিডার ক্যান বি সাকসেসফুল যদি পুরো টিমটা সাকসেসফুল হয়, তো টিমের কি দরকার সেটা দেখতে হয়, রিসোর্সেস গুলো কিভাবে ইউটিলাইজ করতে হবে সেটা দেখতে হয়। good great communication skills, communicating with your team members, what I think, আমি কি ভাবছি, আমি কি ভিজুয়ালাইজ করছি, ভিশনারি হলে তো I visualize something that future এরম I'm thinking of it, this is how it's going, তো সেটা আমার কাজটা কে করবে টিমে, my team members. If they don't know কি করতে হবে, if I cannot convince them, আমি যদি তাদের বিলিফ, সেই বিলিফটা যদি না আনতে পারি কি করতে হবে, তাহলে তো তারা কি করে করবে? তো I have to have a very good communication skills, so that I'm able to communicate my ideas, my views, my thoughts to my employees, my teammates who are there. And তবেই মানে পুরো, so that everyone is on a good, on the same phase, same scale. যেটা আমরা স্ট্র্যাটেজিক ম্যানেজমেন্টে আমরা যখন একটা বলি কি ডিসিশন প্ল্যানিং and implementation, planning and implement the decision is done by two group of people. Planning and is done by the top executives, and execution is done by the employees. ওই যে গ্যাপটা, যে এক্সিকিউট করবে কাজটা করবে, person has to know, the group of people has to know কি কেন করব, কি করব, পারপাসটা কি, ওইটা একবারে it has to be this, that has to be clearly spelled out. And আমি যদি কাজটা করি, I need to believe it, yes এই কাজটাতে successful হবে, this is what it is. So that person, my boss or the leader of the organization has to tell me, has to convince me, so this is it, this is what we want. A communication গ্যাপটা যাতে না হয়, that has to be there, the good communication skills. And যেখানে কমিউনিকেশন স্কিলস মানে টু ওয়ে কমিউনিকেশন স্কিল, ওয়ান ওয়েতে হলে হবে না, কেননা your team members will be also asking questions if they have any queries. That স্কোপটা দেওয়া উচিত কি স্পিক আপ. Courageous. So a leader also has to be courageous. Now courageous in what? Courageous manage goals, whatever goals I'm thinking of, how to achieve that goals. I can think of a goal, but I have to take a risk to achieve that goal. Without risk you cannot achieve success. I know ki amar khub bhalo planning ache, I'm very good at it, acha khub bhalo on papers, and I'm sitting back, ami relax korchi ki ja hoye jabe, ote hobe na, একটা রিস্ক নিতে হবে, কি যে রিস্ক অফ ইমপ্লিমেন্টিং or executing that plan to achieve that goal. ওই রিস্ক যদি আমি না নিই, সেই রিস্কটা নিতে গেলেও তো একটা কারেজ লাগে, সাহসিকতা যেটা বলি, ইউ হ্যাভ টু হ্যাভ দ্যাট, না হলে তো লিডার হতে পারবে না। কারণ বিকজ দের আর পিপল ওখানে থিমে আছে হু লুকস আপ টু দ্য লিডার as the role model. If the leader takes that risk, team would also take that risk. তো সেটার জন্য courageous. Next slide please sir. Sir, yes sir. Sir, our age hara, other than this, what we also have is humility. A leader should also be humble. Humble হতে হবে, কি যে ওই arrogant হলে চলবে না, you have to be humble. To humble means feeling for your team members, trying to, that feeling that yes I have a scope, I am willing to learn from others. ওই ব্যাপারটা থাকতে হবে, কি আমি সব জানি, I am the best. It shouldn't be I know I am the best, it should be people telling that yes he or she is the best. ওইটা যেন না থাকে, ওই হিউমিলিটি ব্যাপারটা থাকা দরকার। Planning the strategy, যে প্ল্যানিংটা যেটা হয়, strategy planning is done by the leaders. So ability to plan, ability to come up with right strategy, design the right strategy, ওইটা থাকতে হবে। So that is possible when you are a good visionary, looking into the future, like what could be the probable future, like when predict করছি, then you plan ki acha this is what has happened, এটা এখন এবারে how do we move ahead. কারণ strategy যখন planning, strategy যখন তৈরি হয়, তখন when strategies are formulated, strategies do not get changed very fast. It's made from long term perspective. তো long term মানে 5 বছর minimum. So it has to, a person who can come up with a proper strategy has to be a very good visionary. So it's linked up there. Next যেটা আছে, that is focus. Leaders have to focus on results. One definitely is there, taking care of your resources, but not just focusing on the resources to that extent that you forget what should be your results, what is your goal. Profit to earn করতে হবে, organization has to be sustainable. So that has to be, that focus has to be there. How to get the end result, utilizing your resources in the most optimal manner, and without it over exploiting any resources. So ওই ব্যাপারটা থাকে। And empathy is a feeling for your team members, feeling, or if they have any problems, if they have any personal issues, if they're finding it difficult to work, কোনো অসুবিধা হতেই পারে। So listening problems, অনেকে আছে they are very talented, কি কোনো কারণে it's not possible, or some issue, some অনেক সময় কাজে we lose our interest, কি কাজে concentrate করতে পারছি না, instead of shouting কি আমার বস যদি আমার উপর চেঁচামেচি করছে, এই তোমার হচ্ছে না, you'll be fired, you'll do, so ওটাতে you tend to get more demotivated, more tensed, ki rather if I find my boss, my superior coming discussing ki je what's happened, কি হয়েছে তোমার প্রবলেম, যে you've been doing work, you are a talented person, কিন্তু what has happened, why didn't you share with me, discuss করি, সেটাতে it becomes much easier, then I open up, ওই ট্রাস্টটা আসে, trust towards my superiors, and I start opening up. That feeling towards your teammates, what is very, very essential. Okay, next slide, please. Next slide, sir. Yes, so আমি এখানে টাইপস অফ লিডারশিপ or styles প্রচুর আছে, অনেকগুলো আছে, so I'll be focusing mostly on these three: autocratic, laissez-faire, and democratic. তো ফার্স্ট যেটা স্টার্ট করছি আমি, যেটা হলো যে অটোক্রাটিক ব্যাপারে, যেটা which says that autocratic comes from the word autocracy, that is a type of dictatorialship, ki the leader dictates, and it's, if you see this, the diagram like do X, that do this work, and everyone in the team has to follow without questioning, do it, it's one way communication system, there's no scope ki je team members ra kichu question korte pare, যে অর্ডারটা চলে আসছে, it's there that you have to do it, so you have to do it means এখানে what happens is the leader makes all the decisions, leader makes all the decisions, পুরোপুরি গ্রুপ মেম্বার্সদের কোনো রোল থাকে না to make any decision, গ্রুপ মেম্বার্সদের কোনো রোল থাকে না to express their ideas, পুরোপুরি সব আইডিয়াস যেগুলো আমরা দেখি, সব আইডিয়াস গুলোই হচ্ছে লিডারের আইডিয়াস, his or her decisions, his or her viewpoints, without discussing with the teammates. So and যেটা হয় যে autocratic leadersরা কি করে, they give a clear indication কি যে আমি what do I expect, এটা আমার expectation, this is what I want, this is what I expect out of the team, this is what I expect out of that work, and you have to do it, you have to get it done, and they make a decision, মানে expectation regarding what, একটা হলো what needs to be done, কি করতে হবে, when it should be done, কখন করতে হবে, and how it should be done, কিভাবে করতে হবে, কি করতে হবে, কখন করতে হবে, and কিভাবে করতে হবে, it is all decided by the leader himself or herself, আর ওই ইনস্ট্রাকশনটা দিয়ে দেয় যে এইটা করো, এই কাজটা করতে হবে, কি এইভাবে করতে হবে, এই টাইমে করতে হবে, so the group doesn't have anything to say, so and that is খুব very less or very less or sometimes zero input from the group members, and because leaders decision make করে, ভালো খারাপ হোক কি টিম মেম্বার্সদের পছন্দ না হলেও there's nothing you cannot speak out, বলতে পারবেন না, কেননা the bosses decide everything. So why does this happen? The reason being ki leaders do not trust their team members here in decision making. Yeah, I don't trust, I don't trust my teammates, I make the decision. So এটা খুব একটা জিনিস থাকে যখন বলে অটোক্রেটিক বস, সে বলে কি যে i'm I'm always right because I am the boss, ওই অ্যাটিটিউডটা থাকে, আমি যেটা বলি ওটাই কারেক্ট, not what you are saying, I'm right because I'm the boss. So ওই attitude which is not always good, for the sustainability of an organization. আর যেখানে কি রিওয়ার্ডস পানিশমেন্ট হচ্ছে স্ট্রাকচার, পুরোপুরি লেখা আছে কি if you do this, if you achieve this, you get this reward. If you cannot achieve, if you perform below my expectation level, you should be mentally prepared, ready to face the consequences. ওই ভয়টা থাকে সব সময়, আমি না করলে আমার জন্য তাহলে আমার প্রবলেম হয়ে যাবে, এরকম ব্যাপারটা থেকে যায়। সো দ্য কোয়েশ্চেন দ্যাট কামস আপ is autocratic leadership good কি bad? Autocratic leadership is good in times of emergency. এমার্জেন্সির সময় তখন ডিসকাস করার টাইম থাকে না। For a very good example is that of when we talk at the government level, war, during the time of war, তখন ডিসকাশনের টাইম থাকে না। So the leaders up there, the bosses up there who is making that decision, they have to just make it very fast because the country's safety is at stake. All the discussion time থাকে না। In times of when we talk of from the organization's point of view, good example was right now we had like 2020 we had COVID. That came all of a sudden. The bosses had to make those who were able to make a good decision had survived, and those who could not make the decisions, there were a lot of organizations the বন্ধ হয়ে গেছে কি work করলেও they had to reduce the scale of operation. So that is there. So in times of emergency, autocratic leadership does make a big role. It is really really useful. But বা অন্যদিকে যেটা হয়, the problem that is there is for under normal circumstances, employees feel that the boss, it's too much bossiness happens, মানে too much control হচ্ছে, too much domination happen. It's like a dictatorialship happening ki you have to do this, you cannot do this, you cannot do this, if you do this এটা হবে, এটা করতে পারো না, এটা করলে এটা হবে, বলতে পারবে না এটা, there's you have to follow the rule book. Exception, there's no scope for exceptions. So সেটা আছে for an employee's perspective, that when you don't have a scope to open up, to come up with your own opinion, then it's quite demotivating. And এইসব ক্ষেত্রে যেটা হয় যে employee turnover rate is quite high. People don't feel very happy working in such a situation. Coming up next, just the extreme opposite, মানে আরেকটা দিক হলো যে that is democratic, where the leaders give a choice to the team members that you decide which is the best. Option X কি option Y, দুটো অপশন দেওয়া হলো, you all decide, you tell. ওরা ডিকটেট করে না, অপশনসটা দিয়ে দেয়, স্কোপ দেয় to the team members to discuss, to come up with their own opinions. So there is scope for discussion. এখানে there's no zero scope of discussion. Whereas when we talk of democratic leadership, there is scope for discussion. Discussion happens and there is scope for feedback. That is there. The leaders do allow for feedback. That they take it in a positive way, that yes, discussion will happen. Any decision that is made will be based on discussion. Puro discussion, team members the সাথে discuss করে যে what is the best, what would be best. Decision of course is made by the leader, but in consultation with the team members. যেখানে team members এর scope আছে কি বলার, ভিউ পয়েন্টস ডিসকাস করার, নতুন কিছু আইডিয়াস এলে বলা যায়, that is always there. So which actually যেটা ভালো হয়, যে good point হচ্ছে it leads to effectivity, it leads to increase in productivity, there's scope for contribution, scope for coming up with new ideas, নতুন আইডিয়াস তো আসছে। কারণ একজনের মাথা থেকে যেটা ভাবা যাচ্ছে কি একটা পুরো টিম যখন বসছে, very more number of people when they discuss, brainstorming যখন হয়, নতুন আইডিয়াস আসে, নতুন কিছু বেরিয়ে আসছে যেটা আমি হয়তো ভাবতে পারছি না, একটা লোক হয়তো ভাবেনি, আর পাঁচজন থাকলে where you can discuss from various angles, better results হয়, সেখানে ডিসকাশন হয়, brainstorming এর স্কোপ হওয়া মানে সেটা better definitely. And তার কেন এটা পসিবল, বিকজ the leader trust the team members. ওই বিলিভটা থাকতে হবে, I can trust, I can rely on my team. I know they're the best. ওদের ওরা যা মানে I have the best team. So আমি ওদের সাথে ডিসকাস করব কি বসে একসাথে যে let's discuss. Let's talk about the pros and cons. What do you think? Ki bhabchen, ki do you have an alternative solution? What do you think? The leader doesn't just decide or say that okay, you have to do Y is the best or X is the best. Leader doesn't decide this. He or she leaves that discussion to the team members to let them decide. Let them have a discussion and then make the final decision in consultation with the team. So এই ব্যাপার যার জন্য কি team spirit, team morale goes up. It's quite high up there. So but it's much more যার ফলে কি হয় that when a project happens, when there's a project coming up, we have experts from different areas working together. So where they are allowed to express their opinions, allowed to give their expertise and their knowledge. They are allowed to share their views. ওই ব্যাপারটা, and they are being recognized. Recognition ব্যাপারটা আসছে, trust ব্যাপারটা আসছে. So ওইটা that helps in the successful completion of a project. এই ব্যাপারটা that is very much there, and that also helps to come up with better unique ideas. আমি আমি যখন বলছিলাম কোয়ালিটিজ অফ আ লিডার, ক্রিয়েটিভিটি ব্যাপারটা আসছিল, ক্রিয়েটিভিটি, ইনোভেশন, সেটা সম্ভব হয় when you are also working with a team. একার পক্ষে সবসময় ক্রিয়েটিভিটি বা I want to have something new, I want to have something new. It's not possible when you work in a team, when you're leading a team. You should allow your team members also to be creative, to be innovative. So সেই স্কোপটা দিতে হয় তার, and encouraging them to come up, be some, think out of the box. We always say think out of the box. With protocol typical জিনিসগুলো ভেবো না, একটু নতুন কিছু ভাবো না, কি করা যায়, something unique which would help you help to develop your skills, which would help also to grow, and which would help the organization to grow and to retain the position, go up, high up. It should be something ki competitors would find it difficult to copy. Think of it. Try to be creative, try to be innovative. এই ব্যাপারটা থাকতে হবে, এই ব্যাপারটা এই ডেমোক্রেটিক লিডারশিপ স্টাইলে আছে, which is why it's really good for any employee ক্ষেত্রে, it's really good. So that's always there. But problem কোথা হয় কি যে a leader, this is where আমি যেটা বলছি, leader has to trust ব্যাপারটা আসবো। তো ট্রাস্ট কার উপর করা হবে? Only if the employees are knowledgeable, only if the employees are experts in their fields. If a company, if an organization does not have a team and does not have the employees who have that required skills, does not have employees whom you can trust, who are reliable, then it's a failure. Then in that case, it's always best to go for an autocratic style. You don't have the right kind of resources whom you trust. That ওই ব্যাপারটা থাকে। থার্ড টাইপ যেটা আসছে সেটা হলো is laissez-faire, or as we say delegative style of leadership, যেখানে the leader says do X or Y as you see fit. বলা হয় না কি which is the best, do whatever you feel is good. Do whatever you feel is good মানে এখানে very less interference from the leader. পুরোটাই ছেড়ে দেওয়া হয় টিম মেম্বারসদের উপর, whatever you think is best. I'm there to give you feedback. Whatever আমার যেটুকু গাইডেন্স দরকার, if you need my feedback, if you need my suggestion, আমি আছি, I'll give you, but otherwise I will not. You work by yourself. So work by yourself, এখানে তখন একটা সময় যেটা পসিবল হয় তখন it's self, যখন it's a self মানে যে টিমটা যখন ওয়ার্ক করছে, a team where there are It's a case where you have highly efficient, highly skilled work employees who knows their work, who knows how to work in a team without being supervised continuously or monitored. That's an extreme case. নর্মাল কেসে এটা সবসময় সম্ভব হয় না, এটা হওয়ার কথা নয়। So it's an extreme case where they, even if nobody is there on our head to work, to monitor, to give us guidance, we can work. We know what is best. Just divide the work and কাজ করো, কি coordinate করো। So she just instruction আছে যে do either X or Y, whichever you feel is best according to the situation. তো এই ব্যাপারটা থেকে যায়। So এখানে which is like they basically, they don't, leaders do not get involved, they just move off and team members make the decision. So this is the first, this is a type of leadership যেখানে the leader allows the team members to make the decision. They do not make the leader does not make the decision. আছে, it's there as a support, pillar of support, গাইডেন্স দরকার, ফিডব্যাক দরকার, দিচ্ছে, কিন্তু ডিসিশন ছেড়ে দেওয়া হয় টিমের উপর। একদিকে একটা দিকে দিস ইজ গুড ইন দ্য সেন্স you are making your team members accountable and responsible for their work. কিছু হলে তখন you can question that you had given you that liberty to make that decision. So you are accountable. If things go wrong, you made the decision, you are accountable. যখন আমি ডিসিশন, কেউ একটা কাজ করছে, যখন when they make a decision, when they work, তখন কি হয়, that you are accountable for your work, you're made responsible. So making the team members also responsible, accountable for the work that they're doing, so that's a good way of also making the team members more efficient, thinking that okay, but without the interference. So এটা work সবসময় work করে, সবসময় it doesn't work. There are problems, because problems in the sense because কি complete freedom দেওয়া হয় leader team members দের জন্য। So what happens is that sometimes it can be misused. Problem also comes up is when you do not have the right skills, then they cannot make, tend to make up wrong decision, তখন they end up making wrong decision হয়ে যায় অনেক সময়। আর অলসো কি যেটা প্রবলেম হয় কি, যে ডেডলাইন্স যখন আসে, যে অনেক সময় কি এমপ্লয়িজরা ভেরি গুড, প্রচুর স্কিলস, রাইট স্কিলস আছে, কিন্তু টাইম ম্যানেজমেন্ট কনসেপ্টটা, ব্যাপারটা ইজ ভেরি পুয়ার উইথ টাইম ম্যানেজমেন্ট কনসেপ্ট। কি ডেডলাইন যেটা আছে, ডেডলাইন মানে ওই ডেডলাইনের মধ্যে কমপ্লিট করতে হবে। অনেকে হয় কি ওই ডেডলাইনটা ক্রস করে যায়, পারে না করতে, হোয়াট এভার মে বি দ্য রিজন, মানে সবার টাইম ম্যানেজমেন্ট স্কিলস সবার ভালো নয়, তো তখন প্রবলেম হয়ে যায়। কি কেউ, বিকজ লাসফের লিডারশিপে কি হয় কি, কেউ তো বলছে না, যে কেউ তো ইনস্ট্রাকশনটা দিচ্ছে না, যে the employees are left on their own to do that, make that work, do that job. মাথার উপর কেউ তো বলছে না, এই তোমার টাইম, এটা কিন্তু ডেডলাইন, তোমার কেন হলো না, কিসের জন্য তুমি করতে পারলে না, তুমি তুমি কেন করছো না, তোমার টাইম কিন্তু চলে যাচ্ছে, এইটুকু টাইম, কেউ বলার তো নেই। তো সেইটা প্রবলেম হয়ে যায়। ওয়ান ওয়ে ডেফিনেটলি হেল্প হয় কি, আই বিকাম মোর রেসপন্সিবল। আমার উপর একটা, আমার মাই লিডার্স হ্যাভ, মাই বসেস হ্যাভ গিভেন that trust me যে আমি করতে পারবো, আমার ইন্টারফারেন্স দরকার নেই, আমাকে বলে দেওয়া হয়েছে যে ইউ ডিসাইড অ্যাকর্ডিং টু সিচুয়েশন। হ্যাঁ, আই বিকাম মোর কনফিডেন্ট, সেটা হয়, কিন্তু প্যারালালি এটাও মাথায় রাখতে হবে যে আমার উপর যদি ভরসা করছে, মানে আই হ্যাভ টু ফিনিশ দ্যাট ওয়ার্ক একটা টাইমের মধ্যে, যে কাজটা করতে হবে অ্যাজ পার দ্য রিকোয়ার্ড ক্রাইটেরিয়া, অ্যাজ পার দ্য নিডস। সেটা যদি না পারি, দেন তো ইটস আ ফেলিয়ার। আর আমার মাথার উপর কেউ নেই, কেউ বলছে না আমাকে কন্টেন্ট যে ইউ ডিডন্ট ডু ইট, কেন হলো না, এই ব্যাপারটা তো থাকছে না। সো দেন ইট বিকামস রিয়েলি প্রবলেম ইন দ্যাট কাইন্ড অফ সিচুয়েশন। সো can we sir some more slides, we just go further down sir, আমি অলরেডি এক্সপ্লেইন করেছি, সো এগুলো স্যার ফার্দার ডাউন স্যার। Mm. Please go ahead, sir. Sir, more, sir. Sir, further down, sir. Sir, yes, sir. Right, sir. Thank you, sir. Other than ওই যে তিনটা বললাম আমি, so you also have something called situational approach of leadership. Situational approach of leadership যেটা হলো basically কি as per situation, like the leader has adjust his style of management, how to go about, depend. He's so depending on the situation, not just it's up to the leader to change his style, not the follower to adapt to the leader's style. Leader has to be adjustive. এই আগের তিনটের ক্ষেত্রে it's the leader who decides his way of thinking. Either he is an autocratic কি dictatorial ব্যাপারটা যে আমি যেটা বলবো ওটাই ফাইনাল, কিংবা যদি ডেমোক্রেটিক স্টাইলে কি দিস আর দ্য অপশনস, এই অপশন এটা বা এটা, লেটস হ্যাভ আ ডিসকাশন, ডিসকাস করে বের ডিসাইড করা হোক। আরেকটাতে আমি ইন্টারফিয়ারই করব না, তো তোমরা যা খুশি করো, তোমরা ডিসাইড করো কোনটা ভালো হবে, তোমরাই সব করো, আমি আছি আজ তোমাকে গাইড, তোমার ফিডব্যাক দরকার, আমি আছি বাস তোমরাই করো। এটা তো আমার মানে দিস ইজ দ্য নেচার ক্যারেক্টারিস্টিক্স অফ আ লিডার কে ভেতরে। কিন্তু সিচুয়েশনাল অ্যাপ্রোচ হচ্ছে লিডার হ্যাজ টু চেঞ্জ অ্যাকর্ডিং টু দ্য সিচুয়েশন, কিরকম হবে। সো অ্যান্ড নট এক্সপেক্টিং কি যে আমার টিম মেম্বার্স সেটাকে চেঞ্জ করবে, না, আই হ্যাভ টু চেঞ্জ মাই অ্যাপ্রোচ, আই উইল গো উইথ দ্য সিচুয়েশন। সো নেক্সট স্লাইড স্যার। Sir, the next one, please, sir. Sir, the next slide, sir. Right. Sir, so situational leadership এ যখন বলা হচ্ছে, so there are 4 different ways. একটা হলো first is telling, or as we say directing, যেখানে কিনা the leader is the one who makes the decision and informs others in the organization about the decision নিয়ে বলে দেওয়া হচ্ছে যে yes, and the leader in this case is very much close involved, highly involved with the work when working with the যখন involved with the way team members রা কাজ করছে, খুব ক্লোজলি সুপারভাইজ করছে, মনিটর করছে তার টিম মেম্বার্স এর তারা কিভাবে কাজ করছে। বাট এখানে ব্যাপারটা হচ্ছে ইটস আ টপ ডাউন অ্যাপ্রোচ। টপ ডাউন মিনস ওয়ান ওয়ে কমিউনিকেশন সিস্টেম। টপ উপর থেকে যখন লিডার্স যে ডিসিশনটা দিচ্ছে সেটা which has to be followed by the employees, and এমপ্লয়িজরা সিম্পলি যেরকম ভাবে বলা হচ্ছে সেভাবে করবে কাজ, মানে they don't say anything else. Sir, next slide please. ওকে, নেক্সট আসছে হচ্ছে সেলিং টাইপ হচ্ছে এখানে বেসিক্যালি হচ্ছে কোচিং, ইটস নট ম্যানেজিং বাট এটা কোচিং স্টাইল কি যেখানে হচ্ছে যে লিডার ইজ স্টিল ইনভলভ আছে ডে টু ডে অ্যাক্টিভিটিসে, বাট এখানে কি হচ্ছে যে আলটিমেট ডিসিশন যেটা না হচ্ছে ইটস স্টিল লিডার্স আর মেকিং দ্য ফাইনাল ডিসিশন, বাট এমপ্লয়িজদের সেই পাওয়ারটা আছে সেটা যেটা দেওয়া হয়েছে কি দে ক্যান অলসো গিভ ইনপুটস, দে ক্যান অলসো গিভ দেয়ার ভিউ পয়েন্টস, কি তাদের কি মনে হচ্ছে, what do they think, কি মনে হয় তোমার বিফোর এনি ডিসিশন। তো ইটস আ the inputs or feedback is taken from the এমপ্লয়িজরা বলতে পারে সে এরকম সিচুয়েশন কি যে কোনো decision is definitely has to be taken by the leader, the leader of the company is making the decisionটা নিচ্ছে, but also taking into consideration কি এমপ্লয়িজদেরও কি মত, তাদের ভিউ পয়েন্টস তার দেওয়া হয়। আর এইখানে মোর অফ আ ইটস কিরকম ইটস মোর অফ আ কোচিং, নট আ ম্যানেজমেন্ট, মানে কোচ মানে কি গাইডেন্স, লাইক মনিটরিং, কি কোচিং দাদা আছে তুমি কি আর ইউ অন দ্য রাইট ট্র্যাক, হোয়াট আর ইউ থিঙ্কিং, হাউ আর ইউ অ্যাপ্রোচিং, ব্যাপারটা সেটাও তো আছে। সো ইনপুটস নেওয়া হচ্ছে, হোয়াট ডু ইউ থিঙ্ক, ডিসিশন আমি নেব, ফাইনাল ডিসিশন ইজ উইথ মি, কিন্তু হোয়াট ডু অল থিঙ্ক, এইটা থাকে। অ্যান্ড এটা ইটস গুড কি যখন এমপ্লয়িজরা নিউ এমপ্লয়িজ স্পেশালি কলেজ স্কুল কলেজ লাইফ কমপ্লিট করা হলো কিংবা স্টুডেন্ট লাইফ কমপ্লিট করে যখন নিউ জবসে যায়, ফ্রেশার, ফর আ ফ্রেশার মিনস ওই সময় দে আর ইনএক্সপিরিয়েন্সড, they are up there keep learn, they have to learn. So this is good in this sort of things. It's very good for people who are inexperienced, they are learning ki ওদেরকেও মানে what do you think if you মানে experienced হতে গেলে কি মানে I have তোমার তোমার কি মত, what do you have, তুমি কি ভাবছো, এই ব্যাপারটাও থাকতে হবে। তো কি খালি কেউ বলে যাচ্ছে আমি করে যাচ্ছি তো হবে না, আমি কি ভাবছি, কিভাবে ভাবছি, কিভাবে কাজটা করতে পারছি, কি একটা সিচুয়েশন এটা কি তুমি কি মনে হয় তোমার ইজ দিস দ্য রাইট থিং, কি 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 করা উচিত, একটা ক্রুশিয়াল সিচুয়েশন, একটা কিছু সিচুয়েশন চেঞ্জ হচ্ছে, কি কি মনে হচ্ছে, এই ব্যাপারটা যখন দেওয়া হয় দ্যাটস রিয়েলি হেল্পফুল কোনো ইনএক্সপিরিয়েন্স অর নিউ এমপ্লয়িজের জন্য। আর এখানে কি হয় যে ইট হেল্পস টু ডেভেলপ দ্যাট কনফিডেন্স কি মাই বসেস আর ট্রাস্টিং মি, ট্রাস্ট ব্যাপারটা আসছে যে আমারও মতামত নিচ্ছে, আমার ভিউ পয়েন্টটাও ইজ গিভেন ইম্পর্টেন্স, দ্যাট রিয়েলি ম্যাটার্স। নেক্সট স্লাইড প্লিজ স্যার। আচ্ছা, নেক্সট টাইপ অফ সিচুয়েশনাল লিডারশিপ হচ্ছে participating leadership হচ্ছে more responsibility to the employees. It comes as the leader still is there to give direction দিচ্ছে কি, and but the thing হচ্ছে ultimate decision lies with the followers, the employees have to make that final decision, তাদের কি করতে হবে, making the employees more responsible, more accountable with it, ওইটা দরকার কি যদি ওই কনফিডেন্স যে অ্যাকাউন্ট মানে আচ্ছা আমাকে আমার বস ট্রাস্ট করে না, এটা অনেক সময় শোনা যায়, কি করছে না, আমাকে দিচ্ছে না, তাকে দেওয়া হচ্ছে, ওকে তোমাকেও দেওয়া হচ্ছে কাজ, অ্যান্ড তুমি ইউ হ্যাভ টু বি রেসপন্সিবল ফর ইয়োর ওয়ার্ক, ইউ হ্যাভ টু বি অ্যাকাউন্টেবল, তুমি ডিসিশনটা তুমি নেবে, তুমি কি করবে। that case কি হয় কি employees become more responsible, more accountable, confidence টা বাড়ে, and leader is still there to give feedback দেবে to increase their confidence কি okay this is how তোমার এই কাজটা হয়েছে, these are the good things, these are areas কি তুমি you can develop this, তুমি এরকম ভাবেও করতে পারতে। তো এটা this is sort of it's sort of motivation also, that খুব ভালো কাজ করলে you get the praise, আর যদি when you do a really good job তখন you are being praised, and if you are somewhere lagging behind, if you are struggling, you know ki the leader is there to give you that feedback, give you that is there someone there, but you are allowed to become you for an employee this you also tend to become independent, so এটা একটা ব্যাপার আছে যে ইন্ডিপেন্ডেন্টলি কাজ করতে পারবো, কনফিডেন্টলি I become more confident. So এইরকম যেটা হয়, this is a situation where you have the skills আছে, I'm knowledgeable আছে, ওর মধ্যে আমার skills আছে, but I lack confidence, যে হবে তো, আমি পারবো তো, can I take that lead, আমার মধ্যে আমি পারবো না, আমার হবে না, এই যে আমি কি করে করব, আমার মনে হয় না আমি পারবো। সো এরকম যখন হবে যে না তোমাকেই করতে হবে, তুমি পারবে, তুমি করো, তুমি তোমার মতন করো না, আমি তো আছি, that helps, this helps to build up motivation, being more confident, or gaining like it helps to motivate the employees. Next slide please sir. Okay. Next that comes up is the fourth style of leadership, situational leadership, is delegating. Delegating is যেখানে leader is involved to the least amount with the employees, very less involvement. So এখানে কি হয়, employees রাই responsible for choosing the task, পুরো ওটা ফ্রিডম দেওয়া হয় যে কি করতে হবে, not just কি করতে হবে but how to do it, the directions they will take, the employees make that decision যে আমার কি কাজ, আমি কি কাজ করতে হবে, আমার কিভাবে কাজ করতে হবে, লিডার্স দা আছে আছে, স্টিল দে অলওয়েজ দেয়ার, যে ডিরেকশন দেওয়ার জন্য, ফিডব্যাক দেওয়ার জন্য, কিন্তু ইনভলভমেন্টটা ইজ ভেরি ভেরি লেস আছে। এমপ্লয়িজ টেক দ্য লিড রোল। অ্যান্ড এরকম, দিস ইজ a সিচুয়েশন কি যেখানে এমপ্লয়িজ নো দেয়ার রোল, this clearly mention আছে, demarcation, or clearly when the jobs are being clearly assigned to employees, that this is your job, now you do how you want, you decide how you want to do। এইখানে মানে এই কাজটা করলে তখনই পসিবল হবে যখন এমপ্লয়িজ দে নো their roles, what they have to perform, what they have to do, and with very little supervision required, involvement is very less। You employees have to clearly know কি আমার এটাই আমার কাজ, এটা আমাকে করতে হবে। দেন আমি যদি জানি আমাকে কি করতে হবে, তখন আই ক্যান মেক আ ডিসিশন কি কিভাবে আমি করব, কি পাথটা নেব, কি করতে হবে। কারণ যদি দরকার পড়ে, আই ক্যান অলওয়েজ talk with my leaders who's there to give the direction, is there to give feedback into this. I have to make that decision। So this is also one way where employees become more self-confident, they become skills to ache, confident, motivated, they are, this is also grooming the future leaders, one way of, this is type of grooming also। Grooming, bringing in that confidence টা দরকার খুব, যে আর being accountable, যে আমি যদি কিছু ডিসিশন নিই, ওটা যদি ভুল হয়, আই এম রেসপন্সিবল, আই শুড হ্যাভ আ জাস্টিফিকেশন কি আমি কেন এটা নিয়েছি, ওই ব্যাপারটাও আসতে হবে। So that's up there। Yes, so these are the 4 different types of situational leadership that we have। So yes, next slides please, sir। Now this basically the very good the benefits of having a situational leadership হচ্ছে, যেটা এই যে different types of leadership আমরা যখন কথা বলছি, তার মধ্যে সে development of the employees, their behavior, their skills, approaches, that is there। Motivating employees, that this is a scope to provide proper support to employees, এটা আছে। আর মোটিভেটিং এনভায়রনমেন্ট হলে এমপ্লয়িজরাও দে ফিল হ্যাপি, দে ফিল গুড, ইট হেল্পস কি হয়, প্রোডাক্টিভিটি ইনক্রিজ হয়, অ্যান্ড এফেক্টিভিটি ইনক্রিজ করে, বা মোরালস অ্যান্ড এমপ্লয়িজদের মোরালসও বিল্ড আপ হয়। আর ইট হেল্পস, যেটা সবচেয়ে বড় ইম্পর্টেন্ট থিং হলো, reduces the employee turnover। Employees feel happy ki na, I am happy to work here, আমার যে ভিউ পয়েন্টস, আমার opinions ও ইম্পর্টেন্স দেওয়া হয়, আই এম ওয়ার্কিং, মানে ইটস আ টু ওয়ে রিলেশনশিপ, যেটা বলেছিলাম প্রথমেই, যে অফকোর্স আমি যেটা আমার থেকে এক্সপেক্টেড আমি সেটা করছি, কিন্তু আমারও যদি কিছু মনে হলো কি না এই সিচুয়েশনে there's a different way of doing, সেটাও শোনা হয়। And there's scope to grow at the individual level plus at the organization level, গ্রোথটাও হয়। তো সেখানে scope to express viewpoints, scope to come up with something new, এগুলো যে অ্যাটমসফিয়ারে থাকে, যে এনভায়রনমেন্টে থাকে, সেখানে কাজ করতে খুবই ভালো লাগে কি ওকে, আই লাইক দিস এনভায়রনমেন্ট, আই ক্যান ট্রাস্ট ব্যাপারটা আসে, ট্রাস্ট মাই লিডার্স, ট্রাস্ট দি ওয়ার্কিং এনভায়রনমেন্ট। ট্রাস্ট ব্যাপারটা তো দুদিক থেকে আসতে হবে। Trust, when can a leader earn the trust of their employees? When he or she also trust ব্যাপারটা টু ওয়ে, মিউচুয়াল ব্যাপার, সেটা ফর এ সিচুয়েশনাল লিডারশিপ যেখানে আছে, সেখানে ট্রাস্ট ব্যাপারটা আসে, আর সেখানে which helps to reduce the employee turnover। তার জন্য কি employees become highly skilled, work leaders now they are taking care of their employees, and employees are also happy, so ওরাও তাদের 100% দিচ্ছে। So that's where it comes up with ওখানে রিওয়ার্ডসও আছে আর পানিশমেন্টও আছে when you don't meet the criteria, so it's very crystal clear। Next please। এগুলোতে I'm not going to go into details because these are other styles of leadership. So এগুলো I'll share this PPT with you all can have it. So I mean straight away I'll go with the leadership theory তে leadership theory এর মধ্যে so I am অনেকগুলোই আছে but I will just go into the most the important one, that is Blake and Morton's leadership. Yes, sir. uh, so which is also the managerial grid model. Managerial grid model এ সেখানে if you see কি x axis এ আমাদের with regarding the task concern for the task, and on y axis এ আছে যে people's concern for the resources, human resources. So based on that কি আমরা যেটা দেখতে পাচ্ছি there are 5 different types of leadership style that comes up. So sir, next slide please. Yes, right sir. So একবারে first যেটা দেখা যাচ্ছে, that is where we have see it's 1 1, like at the lowest. One means one on the x axis and one on the y axis minimum যেটা হচ্ছে সেটা indifferent or impoverished management style, যেখানে where the leaders have very less concern about the people, the human resources, are very less concerned about the production, profits এর ব্যাপারটাও তো আসে, so very less concern. So এখানে কি they just keep that they are more concerned that the leaders are not willing to take that risk. কি ও কেন রিস্ক নিতে চায় না, কি পজিশন নিজেদের ফেম, যদি ফেম নষ্ট হয়ে যায়, যে আমি একটা ডিসিশন নেব, আই এম টেকিং, ইফ দ্যাট বিকামস আ ফেলিয়ার, দ্যাট ডিসিশন ইজ নট সাকসেসফুল, তো মাই পজিশন গোজ ডাউন। সেলফ-সেন্টার্ড, সেলফ-কনসার্নড, কি যে আমার পজিশন, আমার নেম, মাই ফেম, কি হবে, আই এম নট বাদার্ড, I want to preserve my job, my position. So least interested with the resources, human resources, least interested with the production, least interested, just the fame, name comes up. So these are basically যখন বলে indifferent leaders, just like who do not have that characteristics of becoming successful, and we do not call them as effective leaders, just least interested. Second that comes up is এইদিকে যদি আমরা দেখি যে we call is as 1 9, means one means a very, for production purpose, like productivity is like least concerned with productivity but highly concerned with the human resources. That's যেটাকে বলো, এটা হচ্ছে country club management definitely looks into the welfare of the employees their needs, employees their তাদের looking after the welfare, তাদের কি ভালো, তাদের কি খারাপ, তাদের concerned with the employees, but is not so interested with the productivity, least interested there. These sort of leaders কি হয় কি যে try to create an environment কি যেখানে it's a friendly environment, comfortable friendly environment to work, that is there. But এখানে কি productivity is very less, they do not like a lack of they do not give due attention to the task, like okay employees আছে কিন্তু what exactly কি ওদের করতে হবে, what has to be done, because একটা অর্গানাইজেশন কে সার্ভাইভ করতে হলে সাস্টেইন করতে হলে রিসোর্সেস কে যেমন প্রিজার্ভ করতে হবে, at the same time profit ব্যাপারটাও আসতে হবে, so there has to be a balance. Just taking care of only one is not enough, তো সেটা এখানে ল্যাক করছে কি প্রোডাকশন ব্যাপারটা is lacking here. Okay, next third type যেটা middle path যেটা না হয়, which is where we talk of status quo or middle of the road management. এখানে it's 5 5, that's somewhere in the middle, balancing, trying to take care of their resources, balancing, taking care of the resources as well as taking care of like achieving the results. So middle, still not a risk taker to make for production purposes, কি দুটোই ম্যানেজ করে চলছি না, এটাও হবে, এদেরকেও খুশি রাখবো আমার এমপ্লয়িজ, ওকে আইল টেক আ মিডল পাথ to achieve the target, সেটা হয়। So they actually take very less efforts towards the achievement of their staff or the production. Very less effort is taken, minimum effort here, minimal middle path. So এখানে কি হয় যে রেজাল্ট যেটা হয় আইদার অ্যাভারেজ অর বিলো অ্যাভারেজ চলে আসে মাঝখানে মাঝামাঝিতে। Next comes up is right here where we talk of authority, authority or dictatorial type যেখানে হচ্ছে where you see nine মানে task oriented, profit oriented leaders, very less concern on the employees, যে আমার প্রফিটটা মেইন, প্রফিট আমার দরকার, কি এমপ্লয়িজদের এমপ্লয়িজ আর দের ওদের কাজ করতে হবে। আমরা তো উই ডিসকাসড অ্যাবাউট অটোক্র্যাটিক লিডারশিপ, এইখানটাতে চলে আসেছে যে করতে হবে এখানে, ইউ আর দেয়ার ইন দ্য কোম্পানি, ইউ আর দেয়ার ইন দ্য অর্গানাইজেশন, প্রফিট, I want to see profits, you have to do it. So what happens, they are more concerned এখানে প্রোডাকশন ব্যাপারটা and less concerned about employees. So এখানে যার জন্য কি হয় টোটালি ডমিনেশন ব্যাপারটা হয়ে যায়, ডমিনেটেড বাই দি লিডার্স, কি হোয়াট এভার দে সে কি না মানতে হবে, মানতে হবে, যা বলবো সেটাই শুনতে হবে, যে আমি আই নো হোয়াট আই ওয়ান্ট, প্রফিট। সো তুমি যদি তোমার প্রবলেমস হোক কি তোমার প্রবলেমস না হোক, আই এম নট কনসার্ন, আমার এটা চাই, আই ওয়ান্ট প্রফিটস, আই ওয়ান্ট দ্য ওয়ার্ক টু বি ডান, এর মধ্যে করতে হবে, অ্যান্ড ইউ হ্যাভ টু ডু অ্যাট এনি কস্ট, এই ব্যাপারটা চলে আসে। অ্যান্ড সো এখানে কি হয়, এই কেসে প্রোডাকশন হবে, প্রফিটস হবে, বাট অনলি ফ্রম শর্ট টার্ম পার্সপেক্টিভ, কারণ একটা সার্টেন টাইমের পরে তো এমপ্লয়িজ গেট ডিমোটিভেটেড and the level of attrition is quite, employee attrition is quite high এখানে, মানে রিটেন করা ডিফিকাল্ট হয়ে যায়, এমপ্লয়িজ ডোন্ট ওয়ান্ট টু ওয়ার্ক, এটা আমি আগেও বলেছি। and এটা basically is this leadership is all style is more also inspired by when McGregor's X theory, আর finally যেটা আছে সেটা হলো team management which is 9-9, very much highly concerned about the employees, 9 একবার high, আবার highly concerned about the production. This is the best, this is the most effective leadership style is this. So where leaders will contribute, they are contributing themselves, they are committed, contribution আছে, leaders are committed, ওরা motivate করতে পারে, and ওরা respect, they respect their employees. We believe that you should respect your employees, then you should also give employees ওই powerটা, employee empowerment, to so that they can talk, they can give their feedback, and it's which is needed for building a team. So this is the best way to not just to have employee satisfaction but also to develop also the results in high productivity. So this is the best. So that's it from my side. Thank you so much for this, for paying it, for lending your ears, and any further questions যদি থাকে তো definitely যদি পাঠানো হয় I'll answer, আর যে feedback যে মানে PPT যেটা আমি share করেছি, so that can be shared with the students if that's perfectly okay from my side. So thank you so much once again for giving this opportunity to talk, to share my viewpoints.
Thank you, ma'am. The session was really very useful. It was really very interesting. Hope to hear from you again, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
On behalf of our society, so thank you very much, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Now the session is over for today. Tomorrow we have day 9. So again we have 3 invited speakers as well as we can say resource persons. So for today it's over. So thank you very much once again and good night to you all.
Thank you so much.